All right, and we are live. The last word, LordCognito, Ebontis, TieGuyTravis, and a special guest. Before we get into it, look, it was a great run, guys. Pour out one for the homie. Look, we had a good run, and if this is gonna be our concluding episode, I couldn't
The actual last word.
This is the last word. Yeah. It's been a
last
great
episode
group
of the last word. No, we're just
to
transitioning
really.
to a variety show. That's all.
Yeah, that's it. That's
We're
it.
just gonna
Put
talk
this
about
thing to
all
bed,
things
baby.
entertainment and gaming.
Variety show is such a weird word. It sounds like you're going to be juggling.
It
and
does
somebody
sound
else is
weird,
gonna come
doesn't
out
it?
and
Like it
dance.
sounds
Yeah.
like decades ago for whatever reason.
Do you remember? I think it was on the show the first time I heard the word variety streamer, and I was like shocked at the existence of that. I was like,
remember your expression.
Because it's weird that there is a phrase for people who just play more than one game, because that doesn't exist in any other medium. Like if you told me like, oh, you're really into movies, and the guy was like, yeah, I'm a Godfather main. I just watched The Godfather. That's it. Like that's all I do. I don't watch any other movies. You'd be like, you are a psychopath. You know what I mean?
But
in games,
there are actors that get typecast though and only play one type of role. And I would argue that's closer to like the streamer, right?
Well, this is just fans though. This would be like if you only watched the movie. You're not.
No, but I know, but like streamers are like entertainment, so they're closer to the they're producing. I think it's like John Wayne types or who played The Witness, that guy. Like he always gets typecast as like that.
Yeah, I mean there's typecasting for actors.
Yeah.
We're just some streamers just typecast themselves. We're just looter shooter nerds.
All right. Yeah, I mean,
and Travis is
if you said I only play looter.
My advice is don't be a main. Have some variety. It's good for you.
Yeah, being a main is an unhinged way to play video games. It's crazy.
Pro with the $2 super chat. What's up? How you doing?
Oh, prolific. That's the homie. Salute. What's going on? But what's going on, man? How we doing?
Doing pretty good. I'm gonna save my comments about anything else I played till the latter part of the episode because, well, it's been an interesting couple of days.
Yes.
Specifically for our main focus of this non-EU, non-variety streaming content. Yeah, we'll talk about Destiny and we'll get to the other stuff. Travis is an IGN main. That's fair.
That is true.
That's fair.
That's just called a job. Yeah. I don't know if you call that a main. Yeah, I work at the grocery store. I'm a Safeway main. Been a Safeway main for a couple years now.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, don't need to hear too much from me. Just been playing some things. We'll talk about them later. Garrow, what have you been up to, sir? It's been a minute since you've been on here.
Yeah. Broke 100,000 subs a couple months ago.
Yes,
Congratulations. Something like that. So that was cool.
Yeah.
And then things were looking really good, and I was really excited. And now I don't know what I'm gonna do with the rest of my life. So
and then this week happened, and I'm starting to. I'm drafting up my note.
Yeah. We are. We just.
Garrow wept, for there were no worlds left to conquer.
That is so true.
There are no more puzzles to solve. That's for sure. So
I'm a full-time chemist now, I guess.
Yep.
So blame.
Full-time.
What's the win con on chemistry?
The win condition?
Yeah, like your equivalent
Nobel
of
Prize,
100,000 streamers.
I'm an industrial chemist, so there's like a 0% chance I ever win a Nobel Prize. So I
what
think the
would
win
yours be,
condition
like,
is
amazing invention kind of thing. Like, is that
patent
the next Rubbermaid or something?
Maybe. Providing for my family is my win condition.
Oh, that's lame, bro. Lame answer, dude. Come on.
Yeah. So yeah, just been kind of vibing. Enjoyed the last 2 months. It's been awesome. So
we all had a pretty damn good time with Final Shape. I mean, Travis's review score said so. And that's the last time we're going to see one of those.
I told you how much you had fun with the Final
that's
Shape.
true.
That was what my score was. Yeah.
My opinion has arrived.
Yes.
Travis?
Your opinion has arrived.
I saw you finally completed your 8,000 hours.
I did. I beat EDF 6 and wrote my review. That game was very long. It was very fun. It's a stupid game that everybody should play.
What was the total play time after 147 levels?
147 levels took me about 81, 82 hours to beat.
I swear you were at like 70 when you and I talked last week, so you must have blown through the last part.
I don't remember how far I was. I think I thought I was less far than I was, but
Okay.
it's very long. And then I ended up playing more than that because you unlock other difficulties, and if you want to actually experience a lot of the game, you have to go up to. It's a lot, man. You could easily spend hundreds of hours in that game. You could be an EDF6 main, absolutely. So yeah, I did that, but other than that, honestly, I've been taking it easy. My time has been spent focusing on the fact that I'm getting married on Tuesday, and I have to prepare for that. And there's a lot of stuff and money to be spent, and it's in San Francisco. It's a complicated situation. It's going to be awesome, though. I'm very excited to have you guys there,
Me too.
and I have some surprises that I put together just for you two. And I think you're going to really like
You
it.
said something in
So-
the ceremony, and I'm like, I could not be more worried right now. I don't need to be spotlighted in this situation.
I'm just going.
All I have to say is that you guys are going to take out your phones at some point and you're going to record part of the ceremony, and I'm sure that will make it to your social media. It's going to be great.
All right.
I'm very
Okay, wait.
excited.
I'm
Very
worried,
excited.
but all right.
I'm excited. I
Does
know
the
that-
Marriage
marriage-
takes
is
place at reset. That's right. Yeah.
Does it?
At
Is it
reset,
at noon? Wait, is it at noon? No, is it at
It's
10
got-
a.m.?
Yeah, I mean that's when the ceremony starts. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
at reset. That's
With-
hilarious.
What's the daily
but-
reset?
But you have to keep in mind your time zone changed, so it'll have already been reset for a couple
Oh
hours.
yeah.
Mhm.
No, but like, when is the ceremony? I don't remember.
The
It's
ceremony starts at 1, but I
1.
highly recommend getting there at noon because there's some stuff happening pre-show.
All right. You know.
You have a
We
pre-show to your
spent a lot of
wedding?
money. We spent a lot of money on this thing. You guys will see when you get there.
Can't wait.
How many people?
I'm not spoiling anything. It's
Mhm.
it's not that big of a group. We're getting married in the Palace of Fine Arts, which is a public park, so anybody can go. If anybody watching this wants to go to my wedding, you can. But the actual ceremony is taking place at a tavern that we rented like the floors of, and we have multiple floors. So we're doing like, I don't want to spoil too
Well,
much.
that's the
but
reception.
we're doing
That's
cool
the
stuff. We're
reception,
doing cool
right?
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool
The
stuff
reception
happening.
is only 60 people, so it's not a huge
Okay.
group.
Mhm.
Like mine was smaller, but yeah, there was reasons. But yeah, under 100 is nice to hear because it doesn't need to be
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be just the people we want to see. I didn't invite anybody from my family, so you know that's
So
gonna be a good time.
E or Cog, one of you two. I need a full IGN style review of Travis.
Oh, that would be sick. That would be
I gotta
sick,
work on
dude.
that. Yeah.
I
That would be
say judge
hilarious.
me, dude. Do it. Judge me.
The
I've been to
IGN
a few
scale.
weddings, not enough to probably be an IGN level critic. I might be a no name website critic, but I'll try and still use the. I'm an up and comer trying to use the IGN review scale. So,
Okay,
You should do it.
I
Yeah,
may-
yeah, do
trust
it.
me, there will be
That
no
would be
there's
awesome.
no rounding up for your wedding. That's for damn sure.
Mhm.
That would be awesome. So here's my question, and this will determine very
It's
much
gonna be a
how you
7 out of
enjoy it.
10. That's what it's gonna be.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's gonna
I
be a
mean,
10.
I'll take it.
Definitely a
This
7.
Harsh critic. What do you like out of weddings? Do you like to dance? Are you a dancing person? Are you a drinking person, or do you feel awkward and out of place at weddings?
All of those.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I'm the drinking guy.
You're a drinking guy. Okay,
More-
well,
bring forth more
we have
wine.
several open bars, and I'll leave it at that.
Oh, my man, that's my man. Oh, it's lit. That's it. Put
It's
me
gonna be
with
good.
around good people, some nice liquor. I'm fine.
It's
I'll
gonna
make
be
it happen.
good.
There will be a live
gonna be good.
tweet, and it will be a review in progress.
Okay. I
I
like
am
this.
currently toying with the idea of doing a roast at my reception.
Of yourself?
I just
or-
want to know of all my guests.
Oh.
Oh my god.
I just
The his wedding speech. No, you don't want this speech. I promise you. No.
I'm considering it because I would have to write a bunch of jokes, but I kind of want to. I kind of want to do it. I don't
It
know.
would be
We'll
on
see.
brand for you.
We'll
open,
see.
Open bars, as long as you got like, reasonable
Yeah,
cocktail
bars.
mixers or
Come
something.
on.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
Mhm. Teddy Tay, what's going on?
I saw Teddy in there, and he said,
Mhm.
Is he upset? Is he upset that Scaro's here and not him? He should be here.
Bro, you are
Mm.
getting threatened. That's right. His streak is. We got to check the attendance records.
yeah, I don't know.
Scarrow is definitely threatening. Like, there's no question.
Like,
I
I
try.
just reach out, and Scarrow's like, well, it was funny because we were potentially going to do it
Mhm.
earlier in the day, and Scarrow he was like, oh, sad face, can't join. And then I posted a day,
Yeah.
and he's like, Did the time change?
It popped up to my YouTube feed. It said 7 o'clock, and I was like, he lied to me. That's crazy.
Yeah,
No.
man,
It literally changed after we talked. So it was,
Gallows' last word triumph score is steadily rising.
Mm.
yeah,
You're in
his
trouble,
season
my friend.
passes. His season pass is nearly complete.
So I will say this, and only Teddy will care about this, and it is absolutely not at all. It is concern 20 millionth on my list. But now that Destiny is an upheaval, there is a triumph that was added, and then some people got and was removed before everyone got it, and I didn't get it. So I'm now thinking I might be permanently locked out. Like, I think it's pretty good. There's a pretty good chance they're not able to fix that, depending on who
got laid off.
Who got laid
And once
off.
again,
Wow.
that is like the least important thing ever about the events in the last.
But it's
like-
gonna make you cry.
But it is on his
It
list, and he cries about it at night. Yes, we know.
It'll definitely be devastating if it goes down, and I know I was one bug away from being perfect across Destiny 1 and
How many
Destiny 2.
points is it worth? Is it
So-
like 5?
It was
or
like
something?
10 total, I
Oh,
think.
yeah.
So Teddy, if you're still listening, could you chime off in the comments and say if you got hit with this as well? Or
No,
are
I
you
think
on the
Teddy
other
actually
side?
got it, if I'm not
Oh.
mistaken.
Ooh. Oh,
I could be wrong, but I
man.
think
Teddy
he did.
may win the triumph score battle.
Teddy's
Yeah.
taking out the competition.
Yeah.
He looks
Oh.
like the Turkish shooter in the Olympics. Did you guys see him, by the way?
Yeah.
Just chill.
Mhm.
There have been some interesting ones in that. So, all right, well, we had a little bit of fun in the start of the episode. Definitely looking forward to seeing Travis next week. FYI, there is no show next week.
Next week, yeah.
Thursday, those two are going to be busy. I'll be back here, so I might be streaming or something, but these two will be busy. And I think
I'll
you'll
be
be
flying.
flying. Yeah.
I'll be flying back.
Yeah, we come home Wednesday. So
And we're crushing it at the Olympics, aren't we? Look at us go.
we're doing all right. Doing okay.
37 medals.
It's reasonable.
Pretty good.
Wow.
Pretty good so far.
Yeah, the last word layoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I'm
if
setting
you
the
guys would
last
like
one.
to lay me off as sort of like a symbol, like kind of in,
No, you're here until
you know, solidarity.
You're here.
I think
until
it's
the end, man.
solidarity.
You're here until
He
the
said
end.
you're here to the end. He runs a tough ship, man.
Man,
No,
I'm
no,
gonna
no,
need
no.
your I'm gonna need your vacation days approved in advance, please.
Damn, man. You sounded like during the
By the way,
opposition
We
reign.
do
You gonna
not
make
offer
this
unlimited. We do not offer unlimited PTO here at the Last Word Podcast.
so I have unlimited. I have unlimited PTO at all the startups I work for day job stuff. And the most recent startup I was at, we were building it up for 4 years. I never took a day off, and then I finally requested a week off for my wedding week. And then our company got acquired. And now so the one time I was going to use the unlimited PTO, a company got acquired, and now I'm not working there anymore. So
Oh my god.
funny. Good
crazy,
times.
crazy stuff. All right, well, fun out of the way. We got to talk about the big elephant in the room, which some of you guys are going to be listening to this about. Bad news hit yesterday. Bad news has been hitting the gaming industry for a long time now, for what feels like a couple of years. The bubble has burst, and unfortunately, decisions are being made. But yesterday it was announced that Bungie is going to be laying off pretty much immediately. Some people were finding it throughout the day. Some people found out from the tweet. Some people found out in not the best fashion. But 220 of the staff are straight up no longer there as of yesterday. And on top of that, an additional 150 will be moved, it said, over the next couple of quarters. So transitions probably as fast as they can get them there to different roles within SIE, just probably all over the place, different companies, who knows. I've even seen some stuff just in the past few months where some people have gone to Sony previously. So some of this stuff may have already been in the works as it is. Sounds like some of this was in the works even before Final Shape. And then on top of that, one of the incubation projects that they were trying to spin up, team of about 75 is going to move over to a separate division and be under the umbrella of Sony as basically a separate development company at this point for whatever that's going to be. Some people are speculating gummy bears or whatever, who knows it is. We probably don't even know what it is at this point. But all in all, speculation is the company was about 1,300 from Jason Schreier yesterday. We're down to, sounds like now, about 850 between everything that seemed to have happened. Some of the speculation out there was that the layoffs were going to be more than 220, somewhere closer to 350. But the movement of some of the current employees at Bungie or previous employees at Bungie to Sony is going to help save some of those jobs.
But
But
not at
yeah,
Bungie.
but not at Bungie. No, correct. So
Just to be clear, the total headcount since the layoffs the last time and the time before that is about a 50% reduction in the overall workforce at Bungie.
yeah, and that doesn't even include what happened past October that
Right.
involved the delay for Final Shape and everything
Shape.
else. I mean, that was like 1600. We're now down to 850. But even just this recent one between
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm including that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, no, I know, yeah.
50% from over the course of a year, their team has gotten to half the size it was.
But yeah, the announcement yesterday included about a third of what had remained after October. About 35% changed yesterday. So very big difference in the company we had literally even last week. And all of this comes on the heels of Travis giving the Final Shape a 9 and the success that was Final Shape. In some aspects, at least, it seems like
Critical
it was
success.
critical success, but it does not seem like it was a financial success. Definitely
difference. Yeah.
Correct.
not enough to dig them out of potentially whatever hole it was. Does seem like some of what this was related to was the low quality bar from Lightfall and then overextension with regards to trying to build out 3 different incubation projects on top of Destiny 2 and Marathon, taking high level leadership from those projects and putting them on the incubation team, spreading themselves too thin, then hiring too much, expanding too much. No idea if we're ever going to know if building the entire headquarters upgrade comes involved in finances or not. A car collection could be talked about in there somewhere, amongst some other things.
Yo.
So there's been a whole lot that dropped literally, and that's why I was like, I didn't really put out a video or anything. People have put out multiple. I was just trying to let all the information. Jason Schreier says he's actually working on an article that he will be putting out tomorrow, which seems
on
like
Destiny 3.
from his investigation. And I don't know if Rebecca Valentine's going to do one. I feel like she will probably be.
No.
She's not
She's
going
not
to.
going
Okay. I was like, if anybody else is
Her,
going to get that information, she would be the other one I would see. But
many of her sources are no longer at the company.
yeah,
As I understand.
Wow.
yeah, that gets tough. So yeah, we'll get some more information tomorrow, maybe about details. There's things that are leaking out and things that are going to leak. People are throwing the man at the top under the bus left and right. I mean, some are not holding back. One employee that
why.
currently still works there didn't even hold back, much less some of the ones
Yes,
that were
saw
already
that.
gone. So yeah, it's been hell of a 48 hours. So I just want to pass it off to you gentlemen after kind of that introduction of most of the information we've gathered. Some of it's factual, some rumored, but a lot of it seems to be kind of running around the information mill. So whoever wants to take it off, how are you guys doing after this? And I guess before we dive into the nitty gritty of like how the business failed or what our thoughts on that type of stuff is, I just wanted to ask you guys, has this changed your mood to play Destiny, even in the past couple of days? Do you want to play it a little more, a little less, or did it even change it at all?
I'll jump in. It's interesting before the news broke, because this week I've been kind of like taking a mental health, just kind of away from like concentration for the most part, as well as social media. So I've been in the cut, and what's kind of funny is when the seasonal model or episodic model kind of had started, I was like, man, this is great for me. I could just jump in for a minute, do a quick mission, and out, and I don't have to live in Destiny. And don't get me wrong, Final Shape was absolutely amazing, but you know the grind and stuff that involves that. So in my mind, I'm just curious, okay, how do they navigate, moving forward? And then we didn't know what the roadmap was in a post, episodic and frontiers world. So then the news hits, and I'm like, whoa, you see the faded, Pete Parsons, message in the form of a twab, so to speak. And I'm seeing how much people will let go. I'm seeing the response from so many former and current employees, the pure anger. And on a human level, it just sucks, because it's you work so hard to to hit deadlines, to make things work for this game. This is a very demanding game, a very demanding base, and you put out arguably your greatest expansion ever in the franchise's history, to be promptly rewarded with the layoffs. And I know layoffs are part of the game. The way it was handled, I felt was kind of classless in my opinion. But to me, it just speaks to overall. And I know we're going to get into the nitty gritty, with this. But for me, I have to be honest. I look at Bungie as a whole as just a mismanaged studio. They just are mismanaged. It's on the highest level. Even before the Sony acquisition, it's always been something, and it's always been, well, Activision didn't allow us to do what we want to do, or Microsoft didn't allow us to do what we want to do, and it's always been. This is what I think about. I look at during the FTC trial, there was a document that leaked in reference to Microsoft's potential acquisitions, and they had Bungie listed. And one of the things that they had about Bungie, as far as the pros and the cons, like, hey, one of the most exciting IPs, the longevity, the engagement of a Destiny and things of that nature. And then they talked about the burn rate and Bungie's almost inflated view of what they may be making, kind of thing. And then it just takes me back to Lightfall and obviously the 45% target and all this stuff. And it's just getting to the point where, one, in this games industry, like, the stakeholders, there's no accountability for all the mistakes that they have made, and these development teams have warned them about to try to change for the betterment of the game. And this is how they're rewarded. And the last thing I'll just say, as far as the future, look, as a person, like, I'm never a person that says, like, oh, they shouldn't have got acquired. You got to do what you got to do to survive. But it's what you do during that period to keep yourself afloat. I have to monitor, and they, to me, have not made good decisions. So when I look at the Sony situation, they have now been assimilated. They have now been Borged. They have now lost their right at the table, and that's the sad part of it, because the Bungie that we know may never exist again. They may go into a BioWare kind of a state where it's like a shell. You have memories because, on one hand, yes, I guess they get to survive with Sony, but at the other hand, do I have confidence that they're going to be able to do more with less? Do I have confidence that, at PlayStation, that, like, as Travis always says, like, the brain drain is not going to continue, that all their creatives are going to be now pulled and spun off into an IP? Like, this is scary stuff. They may never well be the same. And the last thing that I really have a concern of, the reason why they were acquired was for their live service and their expertise, right? That is not Sony's strength, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So what else happens there? So there's a lot. This is just about top.
That's why they bought them.
Right. And the last thing I feel sorry, it's for the 850 that's left. Now they have to do way more with less. Like, what about the state of the game under those conditions? So I know I'm rambling. There's a lot. It's just sad, to see how this thing all played out. And I just really feel for the teams ultimately. And yeah, it's dark time. The future of this game is in peril. That's just how I look at it. It's really serious to me.
With regards to some of the rumors that seem to be dropping as of recording this episode. Yeah, the future looks bleak.
Yeah, it doesn't look strong to me. But that's me. I got more thoughts, but I don't want to ramble. But Scarrow, Trav, whatever y'all want to say. Trav's
I'll talk.
Scarrow's face right now. He's going through it right now.
It's hard, man.
Yeah, it's hard.
Ahead, and it's not. It's sorry. I'll let you talk here in a second, Travis. But I hate this because it's like first. I feel awful, but I never want to make this about. There's a huge human impact here, and it's not about me or us and our dumb video game. You know what I mean? It's these are people's livelihoods. So I always struggle with that. Like, yeah, I feel awful, but like that's not important at all. So sorry, Travis. I want to hear your thoughts.
Okay. Well, this was always going to happen. And when they got acquired by Sony, Bungie leadership said it was not going to result in layoffs, which anyone who has ever seen a merger knows is complete and total bullshit.
Or 30 minutes.
There's always going to be layoffs. There's always going to be layoffs, right? And I think that some of the, like, for example, Cog, I'm not directing this at you. I'm just saying I see this online a lot where people go, hey, look, they clearly have been struggling for a while. They got acquired to do what they can to survive. That's not what happened. They got acquired because their board wanted a return on their investment, and they wanted to pay out, and they wanted to buy a bunch of classic cars. And the money that they got from the acquisition went into their pockets. It did not benefit the studio. I would argue it hurt the studio. And that's good for Sony because Sony wants their brain trust, and I think they have gotten that, and they're going to continue to get that. So it's win-win. Either they get a successful Bungie that manages to turn around the ship and they have a great game on their hands and a great studio, or it fails miserably, and then they get to acquire the people and the expertise at live service, and they can make the organization better. So I think just like any way you look at it, it's a good move for Sony. But I don't think it was ever a good move for Bungie or the people there. I think it was a good move for the board of directors. And of course, eventually you want to sell your company. You want to get a return on your investment. I get that. But I don't think that we should position this as like something that was done out of necessity or as a move to like ensure the security of the company, because clearly that was not accomplished. And I think if you look at where the money actually went and how acquisitions work, that it was never the medicine that was going to solve that problem. Yes, Bungie has a management problem. They've had it for a really long time. And they also have a huge culture problem, by the way, which Reb talked about, you know, the fight for Bungie's soul, right? The battle for Bungie's soul. And I think this shows that that fight has been lost, right? Bungie's soul is gone, decimated by this 5 times over, in fact. And I think that people who are hopeful about Bungie, you still can be hopeful. There's still 850 people at Bungie, a lot of whom have been there for a long time and have expertise and are trying to do their best. And yeah, it might look bleak because their content pipeline is going to be worse, but they also have half of the amount of payroll, right? And so there's a lot less pressure to deliver in a certain time faction or whatever. But I think it directly will result in you having a worse experience because content is going to be slower no matter how you cut it. And it's probably going to be less fleshed out and you're not going to have bugs squashed as quickly, et cetera, et cetera. Like it's going to be worse for you. But I think if you're a fan and you're pissed off at this, good. I wish you were pissed off 2 years ago when I was. This was always bad. This was always bad. And it breaks my heart, but frankly, this week wasn't that bad for me because my heart was broken 2 years ago and I have just been coping. So welcome to the club. Have fun. If you need tips on how to cope, I've been here. And I really, I feel for a lot of the people laid off, a couple of which were my sources in the Bungie organization who are now gone. And I feel especially bad for them. If you're a Bungie employee, you want to talk to me, you know where to find me. And yeah, this sucks. I mean, there's no way about it, but I think the writing was on the wall for a couple years now. And if you've been ignoring all of the articles that have been raising these flags, I mean, here's the wake-up call, right? Because your game's about to get worse.
Arrow?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Just kind of all. It's just I don't know. I did a whole stream yesterday where I kind of did this sort of thing where I just kind of ranted and then I sat and I thought and then I yelled at some dumb people in the comments and then I ranted again.
It's a little cathartic to do that.
It's hard.
We're getting it out.
Yeah, so it sucks, man. It is. I've made a lot of friends at Bungie over the years, and you know, me being acquainted with someone doesn't make any more or less tragic than someone I don't know at Bungie. I have an immense amount of respect for all these people, and they clearly pour their soul into this, and it really sucks when you look at, especially, the timing and then the areas that they're cutting. You know, it is a lot of, not all of them, but a lot of them are these more like artistic, music, narrative, things, and so
Destiny player support team is gutted.
Yeah. So, you know, there is going to be content, but I feel like a lot of it's going to have a lot less soul at the end of the day. And we lost a lot of very passionate, very experienced people, and any company would be immensely lucky to have them. So I hope they land on their feet. But yeah, it's like every time you lose like some of these people that have been at the company for 5-10 years, you're losing the expertise on the Bungie side, but you're losing what makes Bungie as well. Like Travis said, a lot of that soul and stuff. And so at some point, you know, it's the Bungie of Theseus, right? Like, how far does that name get you? You know? So I don't know. I'm here for the long haul, and I am invested in Marathon. I want to see how it goes, and I've dedicated like over a third of my life to Destiny. So, you know, and I care about these people, and
if I could talk about the Theseus thing for a bit, because I get that a lot where people go, oh, you know, you say you like that studio, but nobody actually works at Bethesda who worked there 20 years ago or whatever. You kind of like a different company. I think people who say that don't fully understand how studios work, because it's not just the people who work there at the time. It is the culture of the company. And if you think about it, a company like, let's say, Bethesda, the people that work there, the people that apply for jobs at Bethesda, they apply there because they like Bethesda games and they want to make those. And so I think that there's a very strong argument for like a studio's legacy matters and its values matter, and the games it's made in the past inform the ones it make in the future. And so I don't think it's fair to say that like once the people that worked on the game you liked are gone, that it's a completely different studio. Like there's a lot of commonalities, I think.
I'm not trying to say it's completely different, but that's definitely, I mean, a culture is the people that comprise the culture. You know, they might have a set of values or morals or beliefs, but we even know over the last 3-4 years, there's been major shifts in Bungie to move away from certain aspects of their culture.
Correct. So that's my argument, is that I think the cutting of these people is a symptom that the culture already changed, right? The studio changed at the top, and it informed all of the decisions all the way down. And so I think these people, you know, having their livelihoods ripped away from them is a symptom of the fact that like the decision makers made the decision to sell their own company short. And I mean that separately from them literally selling it, which they did. But I mean, like they made the decision to make that change. And so to me, it's less of a ship of Theseus. It's not about the old people being replaced with new or them losing people that were instrumental. It's like they allowed themselves to change at a value level long before they made these decisions to cut people. And I think the way they did it is pretty insidious. Like it's like because they told you, hey, this isn't going to change anything. We're the same old guy, buddy old pal. And then people who are watching closely and reading Reb's articles know that's not true. Like you changed at a fundamental level, and it's going to lead to these effed up decisions. Mm-hmm. So I just think I think you let them off easy when you say the ship of Theseus or like they're losing something because they lost the people. Like I think even if they keep the 850 people who work there, who I'm sure are wonderful, that there's still a fundamental thing that would need to change in order for their culture to be returned to what it was.
Yeah,
I just think we lost something more fundamental at some point.
Sure.
And from a lot of this, it comes from the top. And as you're saying, something needs to change. The values need to change. Some like a mission statement within Bungie, like you need a new leader at the helm. Now there may already be one, depending on what you hear. Potentially, rumor is it? Potentially, like Herman Holst may be running that thing now, which is he is one of the 2 acting CEOs for Sony Interactive.
It is really interesting that
he's not running it right now, according to IGN sources. Pete Parsons is still the CEO of Bungie, and that will be the case for the foreseeable future. But I did see that reporting from a very unreliable source that I never trust, Jeff Grubb.
Damn.
That's fair.
Sorry, he talks a lot of shit. He just says stuff.
Well, then the other thing that probably does need to happen is, as you're saying, if the culture is kind of ruined within the studio, if the culture is not there of what it was, the change does need to happen at the top.
Yeah, so that's my point. Like I said, we could say acquiring, not acquiring, the same person's running it.
Well, yeah, I mean, as you said, it was like, oh, it's Activision's fault. It's Microsoft's
it's always
fault.
Someone else's
Sony's fault. It's like, no, it's your fault, and the buck stops at you. And that's kind of the point where it's like, if you decide.
I think the quote he gave was like, we were overambitious and we overextended ourselves. Like that sounds to me like a management decision, right?
Like,
it sounds like something a manager made. Maybe a CEO who maybe is the most qualified.
Yeah.
Bro, so how many people have to pay for your bad decision?
Right.
Yes.
Without you paying for it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's what I want to know.
And that's how it goes, man. Even if eventually it's writing's on the wall, Pete will be leaving the company at some point, whether it's through Sony or whatever. Like it'll happen, but he'll get a golden parachute. He doesn't fucking care. He'll retire.
So he already got his.
He doesn't fucking care. He'll
got his parachute.
Retire.
Yeah.
You know
he got his parachute already. I think he's just staying there probably out of some contractual obligation. Sometimes they do that with acquisitions. It's like you have to stay for a certain number of years so that you don't run off and make a competitor and then scalp all of your old coworkers to go work for you.
It's how it goes. It's like every time people start calling for it, it's like it doesn't matter. Like either he retires now or he retires in 3 years. I don't think he cares.
I mean, if he's shell of his job.
The paragraph that to me was the ultimate indictment was this one: for our 5 years, It's been our goal to ship games in 3 enduring global franchise. To realize that ambition, we set up several incubation projects, each seated with senior development leaders from our existing teams. We eventually realized that this model, we stretched our talent too thin, too
Yeah.
quickly. It
Leadership at the top.
also forced our studio support structures to scale to a larger level than we could realistically support, given our 2 primary products in development, Destiny and Marathon. This is literally an indictment on your leadership and
course,
your
yeah.
decisions.
Yeah, those are
Everyone else
strategic,
suffers.
high level
Yeah.
decisions. No animator, no music composed. Nobody's doing any of that stuff. That is the
Mhm.
high level company. It's like we haven't heard from Luke Smith, Mark Noseworthy, Pete Parsons
is it
wrote that
true?
one, and then Pete Parsons privated his Twitter, so he obviously is not willing to take
Question.
the heat. But what?
I was told by Forte, shout out to Forte, and please confirm. Do we know if Luke is all right? Because he said that Luke Smith deleted everything from his Twitter.
He did that after the reveal for the episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard
And
he
Luke-
just
He's still at the company.
And
Yeah.
Mark Noseworthy, are they still there? The quote unquote Kevin Feige's of the Destiny universe, so to speak.
we don't
know.
hear from them. We don't know what the hell they're doing. So
Noseworthy
who
was on the
knows?
business side, so people had a lot more animosity towards him. So he was always a lot more
Oh.
secretive than Luke.
Okay.
Yeah, so if he's the one making these type of calls for the company, then yeah, he would be one getting a lot of flack right now.
It's just absurd. I hate when they word things like this because like who is we?
It's
But also
it's
like
corporate bullshit. That's all.
they're
it
like
is.
they're like they're wording it like we just now. Oops, we spread too thin. We're just now discovering this. It's like
this has been known for a
everyone has
long
been
time.
screaming this. Like
More
some
often-
random guy in Arkansas saw this 4 years ago. Like, what are we doing?
I mean, more
Right,
often than not, like a company is going to get bought for one of 2 reasons. Like, I mean, Travis has been through this, and some companies are truly made with an idea in mind to be purchased. The other reason some companies get to be bought is because they're vulnerable. Somebody can come in and try and actually pay for them because they're in a situation where they need to, they're in a state where you can make an offer that's good enough. Now, Sony possibly overpaid and likely did with the promises that Bungie made, but now that Bungie can't live up to the idea, I mean, and they said the quality bar for Lightfall wasn't there, and then also hearing some stuff today that potentially Final Shape didn't actually sell more than Lightfall, which means your player base has been falling off. Just been falling off. But we've talked about that with Travis's friends as new players and the new player experience. Like, if you can't bring anybody in, they're not going to see the final chapter.
How can you grow?
Yeah, they're not going to check out the final chapter if nobody cares about the other 6 that are in there. And they can't experience about the first 4 or 5 years of this franchise, basically. They can't experience half of what was there because it's not in the game, in the content vault. You're not bringing in new players, and they had no... I mean, we saw the new player experience now is just like, go collect a box of inventory and go jump in with your friends. Like, that's... I mean, the new player experience, I think one of the guys I know is like, there are some incontinuities just in the new player experience right now. I think he was helping a friend maybe with something or whatever. It's like, and there's stuff that doesn't even make sense in there. So you've got all that going on. You've got 75 people that have moved under Sony, working on their little incubation gummy bear, whatever it's called. We'll see whatever comes of that. Again, that's like one of the speculated titles. I know you're chuckling, but it's like, it's one of the random names of a project. I don't know what it is, but that's fine.
Didn't it reportedly get shelved like last year?
It's probably been shelved, so it could be just Project X if you want to call it that. It's fine.
No,
whatever.
Elon is not associated with this.
Okay,
at all.
well, I watched Deadpool and Wolverine and X-Men too much recently, so that's why that's probably in my head. So yeah, you got 75 people that were at a studio, and from what, Travis's article said, the culture wasn't the best in the first place. So depending on their move to somewhere else, I don't know if they go to a different building, if they're remote, if they got to move or what. I'm waiting for like the Jason Schreier book on Bungie like 10 years from now. But like those type of people, if they move to another culture, is that better? Is that worse? Is the leadership from Bungie that moved with them, is that not a good thing, or is it a good thing? Then you've got the 150 people going to Sony, but some of them already went there. There was one guy who was like an IT guy that I remember going, and we've already lost Salvatore, Sky Lewin. I saw an audio programmer.
We lost Sky?
Mhm.
We lost
Sky
Salvatore.
quit with Salvatore. They were both gone.
Yeah,
like same
I didn't
time.
know Sky was gone.
They were both
October.
gone. Yeah, they were both gone.
Jesus.
Yeah, same time. You've got your music department. You've got Robert Brooks, which pretty much everybody I've seen have been raving about working with him on the narrative team. And then another narrative lead is gone. And then from some of the rumors is the seasonal narrative took a hit. You've got the player support team going, and then so many more people that I don't know. All of them lost their job, their livelihood, their benefits, and they did it on the 31st. They did that again for a corporate purpose to shorten the amount of time any of these severances and benefits last. It's not like we're going to fire you on the first and give you 2 months and 29 days. We're going to fire you on the last day of the month to make sure we pay as little as possible every single time. So all of those things are pretty crappy. They're very standard corporate pieces. That's how that stuff is going to work. That's what they're going to do to like save every penny they can. But it's really, really, it's crappy to watch from the outside. It sucks as a gamer to say, hey, this, business, this company that I've enjoyed the games that they're played, they're a shell of what they were now. And then we don't know what's going to happen to the franchise that we've all been playing for about 10 years. Yeah. If the rumors are even remotely true that's out there, it's like you might be seeing even less content depending on what's there. We don't know how Marathon's going to do. If you look at Concord, whole bunch of questions on how that one's going to land because I don't know. And the other thing that was kind of surprising me is I was seeing people drop from Marathon. A game that is not even out yet is losing people multiple places that are, whether it's testers or designers and things like that. There were people going from the Marathon team. That game is not even out the door, and we don't have a remote date for that thing. So that just got even farther away, probably, and harder to ship. So the people who are still there are buried under 2 sets of layoffs of Survivor's Guild. Like there was one, I know I've talked to him just a little bit. I don't have any secrets. I was just like, dude, I'm sorry for... He's like, I don't know how I still survived. That's how some of these people feel.
People got survivor's guilt. You notice it, right? It's interesting.
They're like, I don't even know how I'm still here. Another one I talked to.
Have you guys ever had somebody call you after you got fired and like express their survivor's guilt to you? And like it's like you're comforting them. You're like giving them a therapy session on like, hey dude, it's fine. I'm cool. It's not a big deal.
But on both sides of it. Yep, absolutely.
There's one reasonably, I don't know how high he is, but it was just like, I don't know how much work is getting done today. And he was just like, there's not much of anything getting done. I mean, just the whole morale in the studio sucks. Whew. Like, it's got to be awful. And like, they're going to have these BS, like, here's your, giant corporate pizza meeting to try and get people
all
to.
Hands is going down.
All hands, everybody here. And I guarantee you, nobody wants to hear a damn thing that they want to say right now.
That's what
and that's so then, but they still have to log into work and do their job because they still need a paycheck to pay for their families, their bills, and everything else.
The saddest thing that, being in corporate and, the saddest thing to see is just like, you go through, like, for example, we have a Discord, right? We all talk to each other. So it would be the equivalent of like the corporate Discord. And then I see E's name grayed out. And I see Travis's name grayed out.
Microsoft Teams, they don't sign on anymore. Yeah,
you can't sign. Then what'll happen is they'll tell employees, hey, don't come to work on that particular day. If you're remote, you stay remote. And then you'll see if you got the poison pill email, right? Everyone's checking to see it. And it's brutal, man. I feel what you're saying, E, because I've been it, I've lived it, I've seen it. And it's one of the worst experiences from the survivor standpoint. And obviously you'll get the lash out from the people internally who did receive it. And it's rough. It is rough. But
it was like, I've been fired once and it's like, it's gutting. It absolutely is. And you're just like,
oh man.
Like
only once.
Those
are rookie numbers, bro.
I mean, it doesn't matter. It's like, just the fact that it's like so unexpected, no matter when it hits you, it just sucks. And it's just like, whether there's reason or not, and you may feel it's bullshit, or if it's layoffs, whatever it is, it's like you woke up that morning thinking you were going to your job. And some of the stuff that I saw that hurt the most to read is like, only once. That's fine.
Teddy's with me.
I know.
Only once is crazy.
I'm sorry.
You live a privileged life. Damn, dude.
Or
actually, that's crazy.
Yeah, well,
I didn't know we were dealing with a badass over here. It's nuts.
Leave him alone.
You know what I will say? I will say this, E. Getting laid off or fired, it sucked a lot more when I was young because there's so much uncertainty. You're applying for jobs and all the job applications say like 7 to 8 years minimum requirements and stuff like that. And now when I look for jobs, it's like 7 to 8 years minimum requirement. And I'm like, I got 11, dude. I'm doing so well. Like I can do all these jobs.
Tech
so
market right
it's
now,
a lot better.
Tech right now is awful. Because
I disagree.
No, like honestly, anybody I know that's looking for jobs is like they like whether it's product managers or project or analytics or anything like that, they'll get 1,000 applications like the day they put up the application. You may be in a niche, Travis, but I can tell you, like, your number of interviews, not an easy thing to come by. So if you're lucky like that, then enjoy it, because most of what I've heard and what?
Maybe it's the thing I was talking about, where like if you're still kind of in the earlier mid part of your career, there's a lot more uncertainty. But like, dude, it's maybe it's just the SF bubble, but like the job market here is crazy. It's
No,
be
like,
SF.
I was gonna say it's
bro.
not you, because like I mean, even with the job and looking for job, somebody I know with like 15 years experience can not even get an interview. I mean, this is the type of, because the market is So enjoy SF, because that is not what it's like everywhere else.
I got 3 job offers this week.
Yeah, exactly. So
look at you.
No.
Let's go.
Let's go.
My degree is in finance and business, so it's like, but yes, numbers were part of my thing. I'll read that comment in a second. But that's the other thing, is I saw that some people were like, I have now been laid off twice from my dream company. That was one of the ones I saw.
Which companies?
Well, one was Bungie, and then I don't know the other one. They didn't say it, but obviously.
Oh, come on. Give us the tea. I want to know how your dream changed.
Well, you get one, and then I would guess if you were going to go dream companies and somebody went to Bungie, they could have also probably gone to somewhere like Blizzard. I could see somebody like, trying to think who else. I could, like a BioWare could be one. Like, I'm trying to think of who's had layoffs that might be like dream companies. But you've got those. You've got some people that their description is like, hey, we need to try and find more people to handle your work because you're doing way too much right now. And then they get let go. Somebody who's the only audio engineer on like the music team, they're gone. And they're like, I was the only one doing what I was doing. So much knowledge is lost and so many lives are ruined, and it sucks. Just, there's no good way about it. And some people are like, what can we do to help? And I can guarantee you, don't buy a damn cosmetic in the game right now. I wish there was like a fund, if you're like, hey, I was thinking about buying a cosmetic. Hey, maybe I can buy that, all the people who got laid off, like a tank of gas or a cup of coffee. Like, I wish if everybody in the game right now would not buy anything cosmetic and put it towards that.
This is like when the SAG-AFTRA stuff was happening. I really appreciate
or the one that's actually happening right now.
Yeah, well, I wish this is one of the reasons it would be great if Bungie people were unionized, because then they would be able to put out guidelines to say, hey, like the SAG-AFTRA people were like, hey, if you're a creator or a reviewer, don't promote these movies and do promote these ones. I would love some guidelines. Like, as a person who, gives Bungie a platform, I would love some guidelines on what is actually helpful for the employees. I think that would be awesome. And you see people saying like, oh, why are you scared? Or not even just me. No one said this to me, but you'll see people on Twitter be like, hey, just stop streaming this game. Right. But I want some guy, like, is it actually like boycotting Pete Parsons or the executive team? Does that actually do more good than the damage that you are now negatively affecting the 900 people that still work there? You know what I mean? Like, I would love some official, real guidance, not some like random person on Twitter. You know what I mean? And I wish we had that.
Yeah. It would be great if we had more unions.
I totally agree.
That's coming up a lot,
in general.
We'll be seeing, obviously, was it Bethesda, and then who was it? Was just recently
Blizzard's working on one.
Blizzard,
World of Warcraft team, I think.
Which is great, because I mean, it's an essential part of any capitalist system, guys. You got to have unions.
Yeah, and it looks like the pendulum is swinging, because what's happening is we're seeing the creatives, they have no control and no stability, and the volatility of the games industry so easily you could be let go. And this is where it looks like it's swinging back with unionization, and hopefully, we could get this in place for places at Bungie, because man, this is brutal. Was it how many slashed in this short period of time between the Lightfall situation and then this?
It was
half the studio. I mean, Travis said
people, half the studio.
Half the studio. Yeah, half the studio. Unbelievable.
They've bisected our homies.
Yeah,
on the Destiny team.
Straight up. Brutal stuff. Brutal stuff.
Not good. Where do we go from here, guys?
Yeah, let's go.
What do you hope happens with the studio? I would love to talk about that, because I have a I know you guys were calling me crazy before the show when I was saying this, but I think it's time to put Destiny to rest. And here's my argument why. Destiny was already in a pretty tough spot development wise when they had all of the people that they needed, right? And if you look at what they're going to have to do to clean up the studio, they're either going to have to deliver content way slower. Maybe that's not the end of the world, but I doubt that model works for them financially. Or they have to, quote, do more with less, which is every employee's favorite catchphrase, right? Yeah. Do more with less and pump it out, twice as fast. And we've kind of seen what Bungie produces when they're forced to put out content without the proper resources and time. And I don't have a ton of faith that it's going to turn out super well for them. And so the question is, do you try to keep, because the other thing is that, as we've talked about, their onboarding situation is terrible. Yep, and they didn't have the resources to fix it when they were twice the size. So why should we think that they now have the resources today to fix that problem? And so if we know that they're probably not going to be able to fix the onboarding thing, that they're going to have an even tougher content situation, and that the content that does come out, because they're strapped financially and under a lot of pressure, is probably going to have to be rushed with a team that's too small to make it. I am afraid of what Destiny would become if they continued it. And that I think it would die a slow death by 1,000 cuts, and that it might end up taking the entire Bungie studio with it.
Right.
However, if they just say, hey, look, Bungie had a good run, we're canceling our plans, and we're contributing all of our people to work on Marathon, and maybe there will be a Destiny 3 5 or 6 years from now once we've had time to kind of reset. And I think if they do that, they can produce a great game, and they can rebound and launch Destiny 3 in the future. But I don't understand what we're holding on to right now, that we have to keep Destiny 2 going for 6 or 7 more years until they inevitably launch a new game. I just don't see the value in that, and I don't like the way it looks, and I think it could end up killing Bungie. And so for the sake of the company, I think they should just send this thing off on its final voyage and focus on a different game and come back to this project triumphantly down the road to launch Destiny 3 and make it awesome.
That's what I've been saying. I've been wanting Destiny 3 for so long. And look, we've had a good run, guys. I
think so.
We did like the cherry on the sundae, the coupe d'état, like the greatest expansion with Final Shape. And let's be honest, right? I mean, look, it's early in episodes, aka seasons. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's clear that it doesn't work for them, like Travis said, it does not work for them financially. And it's clear that it's not the level of content that the base generally engages. You showed me those engagement numbers, in Echo's world now, right?
Yeah.
It's not good. So, I mean, yeah, I'm with it because there's a part of me that I've always felt the reason to come back is now, when you have a brand new foundation and you get all the things, you have more time to cook. It's clear they got other projects going, right? We got Marathon that they desperately need to be a success, and that has kind of changed iterations a little bit.
There's too much pressure on that now to even have a hope.
I have no problem with the soft sunset. I've always said I wanted D3. If you're going to keep doing it, like just start with a whole brand new foundation. If you blow up the tower again, I don't care. That's where I've been. But it's going to be interesting because unfortunately, it's a business, right? And
you're talking about a soft sunset, right? I'm talking about just officially ending it and not doing it for a while. Yeah,
I've always said I'm cool with that. I had no problem because I was just like, to me, the way the content was delivered was always the internal struggle with the community. It's always been that push-pull. Hey, we don't like seasons, but hey, they need seasons to survive, right? You know what I'm saying? And now we're at the point that, Lightfall didn't hit. Final Shape, if what he's saying is true, hit less than Lightfall financially?
They just drain. I mean, that would make perfect sense because you have everybody leading into a big expansion that got hyped. Then they played it. They weren't excited. The seasonal model still wasn't doing it for them, and they just fell off, and they have checked out to go play whatever else, fill in 20,000 other games.
It's also like this happens with movie sequels too. Like one of the best indicators of a success of a movie is how the reception of the previous movie. So Witch Queen was really well regarded, so more people were more inclined to trust Lightfall.
Yeah,
Lightfall sucked.
Good point.
People didn't necessarily put, and then there were all sorts of problems with Final Shape. There's the delay. When it was delayed, a ton of pre-orders were canceled automatically on Xbox, and I think maybe PlayStation 2 refunded. And how many people bothered to do that? There's all sorts of stuff.
But I mean,
I do have a question with the Marathon stuff.
Yeah, let's go.
Do we think? Two questions. I'm going to ask them both, and then I want to hear your thoughts on both. What the hell can Marathon be or turn into that justifies that large of a team working on it? And what sort of monetary model could Marathon possibly adopt to fund enough money to justify having 850 people? Then obviously they're not all developers and they're all over, but like it's a very niche. From everything we know about it, it's a very niche game.
I was basically going to tell you can't would be what my quick answer would be, because you even take something like...
I think it can.
You think it can?
Well, here, I'll try mine first.
Yeah, all right, go ahead.
So if you take something like, what's the one other game that we can think of right now that's probably two other games that are living this long? Minecraft, that's just because kids always want to play it. And Fortnite's the other one. Why? Well, because it's mostly a PvP experience, which is perpetually going to be a fresh thing that some people want to play. But the other thing is, when it comes to Fortnite, their skins are universal to God knows whatever they want. They will put...
How big is the Epic team that works on Fortnite?
God only knows at this point. It's probably ridiculous.
It's huge.
It is huge.
Is it? Because is it bigger than 850 people?
Bigger.
It's enormous.
Epic
it's
prints
bigger.
money with their engine and everything else that they do.
Yeah.
No, I'm not questioning how much money they make. I'm questioning how many people work on the game.
Which is why I think Marathon can legitimately... Because here's the thing. You say, how can Marathon support so many people? I say, what can this many people level up Marathon into? Right? And so take what you think Marathon was supposed to be as a little side project.
This is where you stop the Destiny and you go full Marathon.
Yeah, I'm saying, what would happen to Marathon if it had 80% more people focused on it? How good could it be? Because my concern is Destiny's sort of dying this slow death. And I don't know if there's a way to turn it back, especially with their reduced size. And Marathon isn't being given attention I think that it would require for it to have a shot at being successful. And so your options are continue on this path of futility and hope that Marathon somehow turns out good with a small team, or triple down on it and give that game the best chance that it has to succeed and get rid of the thing that's killing you.
Okay, so here's a question.
So what are your other options? I mean,
whether it's going to be a shooter or extraction shooter or something along those lines, is this going to be a free-to-play game, or is this going to be a Sony thing that's going to be like a $40 Concord? What is the model that they can do with this one? But also the reason, like, Fortnite is cartoonish, but also, I mean, they'll be like, oh, we just put NFL teams in there, and everybody's like, oh, I'm going to go buy my 49er skin. Or they just put Batman in there. I'm going to go get Batman, or Harley Quinn, or what was Jack Sparrow's a recent one I saw, and even a friend sent a text to, like, one of our friends, like, we have a group of, like, people in this text, and it's, like, to his wife, and be like, because she's a huge Jack Sparrow and Johnny Depp fan. It's like, it has got so much universal appeal, and it's just one of those things that it's like, it's PvP, and then they've made their changes between building and not building and that stuff. That sits there. And that's kind of the thing, is like, if you want the live service, you're still competing with stuff that already exists. Now, in Travis's sense, if you get rid of Destiny and you put everything behind Marathon, don't get rid of Destiny, but, you know, let it do its thing, and you put everything behind Marathon, get rid of Destiny, just power off. You can put a lot into Marathon, but it does feel somewhat forced right now, and if these things will work or not. And there's no real way to know until it comes out. It could be like the next Tarkov, maybe, and it could land in a place. I mean,
is Tarkov even that big? Like Tarkov is successful for extraction shooters, but is it considered successful in relative to other video games?
You know what other genre didn't have any successful examples of it that were profitable before Bungie made it?
Oh, okay.
Well, Battle Royale, but I was going to say looter shooters.
Looter shooters, yeah.
Destiny.
Bungie is very good.
Here's the thing. People underestimate Bungie, and they say, you made Halo, you're never going to make something bigger. And Bungie has made big bets. Destiny was the biggest bet ever. It was 6 years of development. It was a huge team, and everybody said, like, how the F are you going to top what you did? And then they did Destiny, and it worked. And so my point is, what they're doing now is actually anti-Bungie's original culture of making big bets and believing in themselves. And so to me, it's kind of a move out of fear. It's them saying, let's rely on our money maker and just like milk this thing as much as we can, and then we'll try little projects here and there. And to me, that's not how Bungie has ever been successful. They've been all in on their bets that have worked out for them, and I think that they need to be now, because there is no other option. The other option that you guys are seeing as more safe, I see as the ultimate. It's an inevitability that it will close at that point, and so they would have to get so lucky to make Marathon work. And so I say there's no example of a extraction shooter that's that successful yet. Bungie's the team to make it. So put all of your chips into that. If you triple the team size, you can make more content for that extraction shooter and make the seasonal model crazy and just chug out new content, and you have a chance of actually making a successful game. And then you can come back to Destiny later when people are less sick of it, and you have an opportunity to reset and not have to worry about the onboarding problem that literally chops you off at the knee and makes you unable to gain new players. And so I just don't see another path to victory here. It's a risk, but it's
a
like
little bit deeper
what they have to do.
Because I just want to go through these rumors that I saw with regards to what potentially could be coming after. How's it called? Not Revenant.
Can I ask one more thing about Marathon before we do that?
Go for
and I
it.
do want to talk. I didn't get a chance to talk
All
about
right,
that.
I'll get back to mine.
Marathon has to be free to play, right?
That's literally what I was about to say. I was like, all this sounds nice.
Yeah.
Bro, in this model, first of all, Bungie's not in control of anything. So all this, they're going to, do it, bet on Earth. That's over. You've been bored. You've been assimilated. You've been brain drained. You will now report to Herman. As far as I'm concerned, Herman has his head on Pete's
from his
head
perspective,
right now.
do you think, if they're looking at the books right now, even from Sony's side, do you think they look at Bungie as something they want to continue leading?
It depends.
Yeah, I mean they're not going to let him die. They just put $4 billion into it, one way or another.
But they might want to scrap it for parts. They're going to scrap them for parts, is my point. So, and that's what I said from the beginning about the brain drain. That happened. That was just real. Correct. Okay. And but my point is, if you're a Sony person looking at the books, you see what I'm talking about. You see the fact that Bungie doesn't seem to have a way to grow Destiny anymore, and they're bleeding people. And how long can they keep this up? And so, if you're Bungie, you're saying, "Hey, look, we have this game that's already partly made. Let us throw everything at that, and if we can prove you wrong, it'll be our Final Fantasy." Right? And so I think that's really their only option.
But here's the thing. They also they made this incubation team, a smaller team for this other project that clearly Sony likes, right? Sony made a whole new studio. This is what we like from y'all. This, you know what I'm saying? Now, the other problem with Marathon is what the elephant in the room. I call it, you have a great analogy with brain drain. I have an analogy. I call it the Sinister Six. And what I consider the Sinister Six are these 6 live service or free-to-play games that people from past generations refuse to upgrade from, and they live in these worlds. The majority of the Sinister Six are free to play. So now we're talking extraction shooter in a climate where people don't want to play for games. And I'm with you. Look, Trav, if anybody could make a great game, it's Bungie. I believe in that. But what about the talent that's left? And in conjunction in this climate, in this model, I don't have confidence that would have that universal appeal to save it. The only one I seen that kind of did that, and it took a while for it to build, was Rainbow Six Siege. That was like
that's what I was going to point at.
And that started as a disaster that people did not like, and it evolved
to Destiny.
Into great fair. If anybody could do it, Trav, you're right. We know it's Bungie. My concern is just the economic climate where these kids don't want to pay for it. We're looking at Concord as kind of test beds, and these kids are like, "Yo, we haven't seen yet.
We haven't seen how Concord turns out yet. I'm reviewing it, but
fair enough.
But I think people are prejudging it. But my point is, what is the alternative?
The free to play is the enemy to Marathon. If they're going to charge people for this game, and you want this entry level part, I don't know, man. I really don't feel confident. It doesn't feel like a mass appealing style game, like a a hero shooter, or what I'm saying, or a battle royale. It doesn't. So I'm worried about that.
We don't know yet. I mean, Fortnite looked to me like a big ol' waste of time, and it's
Fortnite's free, so people will go and try it though.
Yes,
it wasn't when I reviewed it. That's my point. Now there was Rainbow Six Siege.
It was when it first came out, it was like barely a PvP mode, though. You know what I mean?
It wasn't a PvP mode at all. It was PvE. Yeah, I don't even think the version. I don't think the version I reviewed had PvP at all.
Okay.
But my point is with Rainbow Six Siege, it was the same thing. It was a $60 game, and then it pivoted to free to play. Marathon could do that. Marathon could sell it to the people who are super eager, and then 6 months later turn around and be like free to play. A lot of companies do that.
If they go FTP, I'm with you.
But my point is, what is the alternative? Show me the other path to victory that doesn't involve kicking Destiny to the curb for now and putting all of your chips on your own success.
My concern is that the corporation, as much as what you're saying sounds sound and common sense for the health of the game, we're talking about stakeholders. And they are still going to try to extract value and money from this dying husk as much as they can. They're going to go for the DJ Oroses. They're going to go for all the cheap little collaborations that you hate and partner with companies that you hate. Here come the Dungeons and Dragons twin. You know how they do, Trav. Corporations going to cooperate.
I get you, but if you were, I get that they have masters now, and again, I wish they didn't. I never wanted them to sell. I hate that they sold. But if you are a leader, yeah, right. If you're a leader at Bungie and you say, "Look, here's our position. You know our position. You're the one who helped make this happen, right? You were involved in these layoffs. This is the reality of the situation. Let us make this one big bet on this game we're building because we're not seeing returns. We now have fewer copies of Final Shape sold than even Lightfall, which was not good. So let us make this one final bet, and if it doesn't work out, we are yours." Like, that's the end of Bungie, clearly, right? And so
already happened, brother.
I think you're right. I think it happened 2 years ago. I think it happened 2 years ago when I said this was going to happen. But I think that if you try to save any part of Bungie as a studio, that the only way you can do it is by proving Sony that you can land back on your feet and produce another super profitable game. And the only option they have right now is Marathon, because I don't see a way to fix Destiny right now. They can fix it in Destiny 3, but again, Destiny 3 is 7 years away. You know what I mean? They don't have a path to victory on the Destiny front. And so I think the only thing they can do is finish this game they have and try to make it something super special and then worry about Destiny later.
And maybe, and I mean, look, maybe to the whole point of one thing that E was always concerned about is when we talked about Frontiers, and nobody really knows what the future of Destiny is, right? Maybe this
Want me to fill in what that might be?
What we learned.
We got some leaks.
We got some leaks and speculation. So this,
let's leak it out.
I mean, this is, you guys can listen to this if you want to. We're an hour and 15 minutes into the show. If you've enjoyed the show, which has been all sorts of depressing so far, thanks for listening. Now we're going to get into some speculation territory. Heads up.
It is just for everyone who might avoid spoilers. It is not story spoilers.
It is not story spoilers.
It is purely content spacing stuff. Yeah,
format content. So basically, it sounds like what will potentially come after what is planned. That's Revenant. What is it? Heretic? Is that the last one? If I get that name right? Heresy. Close. Heretic's probably something Diablo related roaming around in my head. Anyway, post that, they say potentially 2 DLCs and 2 seasons per year. Now, they say these will release at roughly the same time, so a DLC and a season. We're almost going back to what sounds like your entire year would be Curse of Osiris and Warmind. That would be your DLC year.
Season.
Kill me.
Season, I'll get to more. Hold on, there's more.
Wait, so DLC meaning expansion? Just I want to clarify before you go.
Hold on. No. Just
But they're not like the mainline expansions like Final Shape. They're like the small ones like Dark Below and
like going to D1 style.
Yeah.
Got it.
So
they have to with their team size.
With the team size, yeah, of course.
Season will be entirely free from the pass rewards. So basically, if you buy the DLC or whatever it's called, you're gonna get the season pass with it. 6 months long each. And then now they said they've got more. So by the way, these DLCs are not Final Shape sized. They're small.
Of course.
I'll explain soon. Seasonal narrative took a hit. That was the team we talked about, the narrative team. A lot of your writers aren't there to keep up with the knowledge and the writing and everything else. No more week-to-week story beats or story released all at once. Neither. One intro mission explaining the why of the season. That's it. Only thing other than that is the traditional character banter throughout the activity. And then for the seasonal loop, you've got new play base level activities to earn seasonal gear. After that, completing higher level activities to earn higher score and rating alongside higher gear power. All of this is in prep for a rally event, which occurs 2 times per season, so a total of 4 per year. You can use seasonal weapons and armor during rallies, a week-long event that will showcase new activities, a fire team activity, PvP activity, pinnacle activity. Also has harder versions of these things. So Travis feels like he's kind of on the money for a little bit of basically get Bungie to take Destiny to the lowest common denominator that is still functional.
Right. And still make it and still extract money
But
and value,
again,
like I said.
still lower. No, but I'm saying like not.
They're
But
not killing it. I'm telling y'all. It's
but
not
again,
happening.
if you
No,
do,
it
if
ain't
you
I
take
mean,
if you
you're
take
not
the
killing it
season,
immediately, but
Right.
it could
But you
they could
getting
kill
the
it in a
money.
year.
They getting the money. We gonna drain the blood from the stone. That's how it works. No one's gonna walk away from money.
You,
It's
you know
just
that
not gonna
you know
happen
that
if that
phrase
works.
is a reference to the fact that you can't drain blood from a stone, right? And
They
that's my
go
point. Is I think they're trying to drain blood from a stone, but I think they're going to realize, wow, this really isn't profitable. And then at that point,
Right.
Bungie has an even better argument to say, look, this isn't working. Let us put all of our power into making this other game great.
And what I'm saying is, it's nice that they say that this ain't working, but you no longer have control of the pilot, sir.
But Sony would agree if they're not making money.
Yeah, if they're not making money when they get to that point,
I don't
yeah,
think they
absolutely.
are. I don't think
Yeah,
they
but
are. I
here's
mean,
the-
look
so
at
here's
Final
the
Shape
thing.
sales.
No, but
They're
okay,
going to.
here's the thing. The numbers that I sent you, Cog, about the player base that's slowly
Yeah.
dwindling and dwindling.
Yeah,
This type of content is not going to make that better.
I'm not saying it is.
No, 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 no. I'm
I'm
no.
not.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not even done talking.
Mhm.
All I'm
Yeah.
saying is like this is slowly going to take that number of concurrent players for Destiny,
Right.
and
Absolutely.
those little peaks are going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. What's that is
Absolutely.
going to lead to is less and less money over time as you go.
Right. And all I'm saying is it's a transitionary process.
Yeah.
It's never abrupt. It's never right now, and they're
No,
going
I
to
know.
extract
I
as
mean,
much
Travis.
and then do
Yes,
that. Yeah, of
Travis
course.
would love to see them just say, "All right, we're done, Heretic," and then we're just going to leave Destiny 2 to be that, and then take everything.
Don't get me
else.
wrong. I have no illusions that won't happen. I'm just saying.
I was saying. I thought y'all were saying like this
No.
is happening. I'm like,
No,
okay.
I'm saying that won't happen. But I think if they're smart, they will kill Destiny, and they'll say, "Hey, look, at the end of next year, we're going to stop making DLCs. There's going to be more Destiny in the future, but right now we're going to focus on Marathon." That's
Right,
what
absolutely.
I think they should do.
And that's we in agreement then, because
And
that's
from
literally how
Sony's
I
side,
figured how
what
they
you would have to
transition.
look at, and the financial
Mhm.
side is like, what is it going to cost to make this content? If they have the
Right.
smaller seasonal teams
Correct.
like Alpha and Omega, and they can take their time now,
And how much of their attention isn't going to be on Marathon because they're doing this?
Right, and
I think
how-
that's the other cost
yeah.
you have to worry about.
and how much of the 850 people are left does it take to make this? If we can have the smallest number of people, which sucks for everybody working there, the smallest number of people possible to make maybe something like what I said. Who knows if that's even remotely what it is, but it sounds like a chunk and a chunk. So that would be a seasonal team per 6 months, putting out a seasonal level piece of content and not working on an expansion. If that is all you're doing, you take the amount of people working on Destiny to be much smaller. Are you going to get new musical pieces? Maybe, rarely. If so, like that stuff's going to go away.
They'll
A
just
lo-
contract that stuff out. They said that the last time.
Yeah,
The intention with getting rid of a lot of the internal stuff was they'll just
and some
give
of-
it to
yeah.
some guy on. They'll go to Fiverr, say, "Hey, write us an AI piece."
They'll
Yeah.
probably go to their former employees who are unemployed and now able to work for contract rates where they make less money.
And
So-
and no benefits.
Yep.
Yeah. So all of that leads to as few people on
But the
Destiny
freedom,
yeah.
the freedom of not
Freedom.
you're your own boss. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
I mean, one thing that does happen though, a lot of times, what I call is a circle of life. When do something, even though Bungie did not get closed, but a lot of times these creatives, they say, hey, why don't we come together and make our own thing and develop our own studio? There's world-class talent still available, but that's a big undertaking.
And
And
then they
there's-
do it, and then they get bought by Sony, and then
And then it's the
the
circle of
circle,
life,
yeah.
baby. That's it.
But I mean, that's I think Travis's like thoughts are a little on the extreme side, but it does feel like very much the direction is get Bungie down to the minimum viable
Yes.
product to keep that
Destiny, you mean?
Yeah.
Bungie to get Destiny down to the minimum viable people working on that, which
Mhm.
means those people are going to be stretched very thin, working
Yeah.
very hard to put out anything that they can qualify for whatever they're going to charge for these DLCs.
Mhm.
$25-$30 for 6 months of content or whatever it is. But if
Mhm.
there's not much in there, and then they're gonna hopefully keep the servers running. So occasionally you get some artist sitting in a corner just working tooth and nail to try and bleed through his fingers. He's just sitting there pumping out cosmetics.
One artist for the entire franchise in the
Because that's the one guy.
summer intern. Let's go.
Yeah, there's like
One
fine.
guy.
I'm sorry, 2 artists. One's working on armor, one's working on skins for everything else to keep something rotating through the Eververse store, and everybody else could be working on something. The question you have to look at this from Sony's perspective is
Mhm.
what does it cost to make what we said? how few people can we have on that, and what are we going to do with the rest of you? And if, as Travis is saying, put it all into Marathon, maybe that is something that could potentially be successful. But they won't know. What? Destiny is already minimally viable.
It's the chat.
Don't worry. It's a chat thing. Don't worry.
The chat is hilarious.
The janitor's maintaining the game. He's
Yeah,
just
right,
over
the
there. He's
janitor
like,
holding it down
oh.
right now. Son.
He's like, hold on, I
Sweep
gotta do a server reset. All right, everybody, hold on. Turn it off. All right, turn it on. All right, yep. All right, I'm gonna keep cleaning the floors now. That's your server reset for the week.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so it's just
Anyways,
like,
so when does Destiny 3 like? Do we think that's actually part of the plan still?
No,
sorry,
it was never part of the plan.
Yeah, that's sorry. I misspoke. That was terrible wording on my part. Do we believe that Destiny 3 or the next Destiny installment is an inevitability at some point?
No. I think it only happens if Bungie can find success in between now and however long it takes to build a Destiny 3. And that's why
Destiny
I think
3 only works if Marathon works.
I think Destiny 3 only works if they can survive long enough to build it, and I don't think they can survive long enough to build it unless they have another game. And the only game we know that they have partially developed is Marathon. So I just don't know that they have any other choice.
Marathon needs to be successful for Bungie to have much of a future in Sony's eyes. Otherwise, that's pretty bleak.
Yeah, I agree. I would agree that. And I think that I'm sorry, again, Trevor. I got one other point.
No, I was going to wrap up the conversation, so you go.
No, it was just I agree. I think that's what it comes down to. They need that point to be successful for them to continue. But I'm very curious the way they are spread. I'm very curious about this project that Sony liked. Do we have any more detail on that?
Nothing. Not a damn thing.
That's the one. That, to me, that is interesting. They had something on the cutting room floor that
it was like a fantasy game, I think.
Right? And science fantasy.
And they're spinning that into an SIE studio?
Yeah.
For this one, that is interesting to me. Because to me, I look at them
75 developers is not big. If they have an idea.
I think Jason actually went back and said it was only 40.
Okay, even if it's smaller, it's like if it's a small team project with an idea, that's something that Sony would look at all the time.
Also, the partially developed is you're saving yourself the ground floor, like bare bones asset creativity.
And Sony loves to be that like second party, like try and build them up, and if they can have a good eye for success on that one, that could be good. But they want to control it; they don't want to let Bungie screw it up.
Yeah, and I think they just look at them; they're just too costly. The Vibe guys, they looking at them like, bro, you've been wild with this checkbook, and we gotta cut.
They're in the
so
red.
much of
They
the
flat
fat.
said it.
You're in the red. Like you are so operating inefficiently, and we have to step in and really crack the whip on you guys. And I think it's very interesting to me how they operate now in this type of situation, especially with the board of directors situation.
Yeah, I mean, overpaid probably. Operating now in the red for something that overpaid. Changes are absolutely inevitable at that point. I mean, you've got somebody like Naughty Dog, at least who has a proven history for them and making money and stuff like that. And then you see factions get shelved by this wonderful company we're talking about right now, which is like,
and then we saw the Insomniac leaks as a point of them splitting. They want to split Spider-Man. Remember, into even they talk about the price point as far as the scope. The scope's getting too big.
$300 million for Spider-Man.
Yeah,
what would that be? Spider-Man, not 3, or was that 2?
3.
Yeah, 3. It would be 3.
2 came out. It would be 3 in the future.
Yeah, it's like Wolverine's being Insomniac. By the way, I don't know how many people work there, but they are like the output gurus of Sony. So it's like I don't know how many people work there, but anybody else with more people than them looking at the output that Insomniac does is like,
they've always been that way.
That
studio's got a crazy culture of just getting it out the door.
Yeah, awesome. Oh yeah. But yeah, when you compare yourself to Bungie, who's now bleeding on an expansion, like your best expansion ever didn't sell enough, like the model's not working. Really not. So that's the point where I honestly think a lot of people right now, like you guys can be unhappy with what Travis is saying, but I think you will be happier people in general if you treat Destiny as a casual experience at this point. Because the promise of maybe coming back to it, the only thing right now that I'm truly even looking forward to right now, based off of current seasonal model, is a couple of dungeons. That is like my next 2 years of outlook of what I'm kind of looking forward to.
We know there's a raid.
We do know
there's a raid that they're working on. That's fair.
Really?
Maybe that
when's that happening?
Well, it's
they
probably
were working on something because one of the raid
I
team was
don't-
gone, and they said that. So,
Yeah,
they
they-
stitched out the thing.
well, they just said, "What do you think the raid and
It-
dungeon team is working on?"
It was said that there is currently a raid in development, and nothing less than that. And I would and it seemed
Might
like
not
it
be
was,
anymore.
It seemed like it still was, but
According to said person. Okay.
yeah, but I am not aware of a single time, and I'm obviously I don't know, but I don't generally think raids are made a year in advance, so I kind of doubt this is a Frontiers thing, but could be completely wrong.
I'm still wondering where they would put it, I guess, because if you do
Yeah, me too.
dungeon with episode, that takes us to the end of the stuff we know about outside of Frontiers. So maybe it's what they were maybe thinking about putting with Frontiers. Maybe it's a filler, like, who knows? But I was like,
Yeah.
it feels like because all we're getting this episode for 18 weeks is an exotic quest, and so far 6 weeks, and we finally got an introduction to the villain, which we haven't even talked about this week yet.
Oh yeah.
I do kind of wonder if
nothing burger.
there's nothing that has been directly said that episode 3 will start the day episode 2 ends. They could very easily put a couple week gap in there and drop a raid or something if they wanted to space out the content a little bit more.
I think your supply of copium is running out as we speak.
I'm just saying, I don't think they've ever. I have never heard of them working on a
Hopium.
raid a year in advance. That's crazy. When they're putting out 4 major pieces of content a year.
How long do you think it took them to work on the final shape raid?
6 months.
You think that's all it took, or do you know that?
I would have a hard time. Maybe a little bit more than that. But Crota came out 6 months before. Crota came out 6 months before that. How much
We
overlap?
know that
Sorry.
they sometimes work on ideas and then shelve it and make it a part of a different raid, and so I think they've got a bunch of like half completed raids that they sometimes draw from.
Yeah, maybe that as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a team. How many people are on the rad team realistically? Like 20, 30? I don't know. But it's like they're doing dungeon raid. How many people can realistically work on each piece of content leapfrogging each other? And so it takes a lot of people to make these things. They can't just take a quarter of the team is. I would bet my liver not working on something full time for the entire year. You know what I mean? Seems like it'd be put the whole team or half the team on one thing, and then half the team on one, and then.
So where do you put it now that we kind of understand the episodic?
Yeah,
model?
that's a great question, isn't it? I don't know. Depends.
Because we're getting okay. Where do you put the exotic quest? Week 1, for Act 3. Week one. Okay.
Week 1. I think it'll be all their exotic quests, all the previous ones, with the exception of Whetstone, which is barely an exotic quest by traditional standards. They're designed to be run weekly. Run it again to get the catalyst. Run it again to get the catalyst.
Or whatever. Yep.
So I bet it'll be a 3-week exotic quest. I'm sure we can see how many catalysts are in the game. I actually haven't checked, but 3
It'll
or 4
probably
weeks.
come with the data mining on day 1 of whatever.
No, I guarantee it's already in there. It's not.
It is? Oh.
Yeah. All the triumphs already are. So, or the strings are, not the triumphs. The strings are already in there. So, yeah, I would be very shocked if it's not a week 1 thing. But
yeah, it's like it does feel like, hey, what's your last 2 rounds? So, okay, then the question is, where do you put a dungeon? Middle of the act when it's quiet?
At Bungie HQ.
Walk in the doors and it's just the whole dungeon. All right, we can speculate about dates and stuff like that. I feel like at this point we could probably talk about Act 2 that did wrap up.
If I can wrap it up.
Yeah, if you want to wrap it up, that's totally fine.
Yeah. My closing remarks are this.
Closing statements?
Closing statements? Yeah. We do it.
Friends, Bungie employees, former Bungie employees, it did not have to be this way. There is another path in the games industry. And I'll tell you what I see in the games industry as somebody who visits game studios all the time and writes about game studios all the time. There's a beautiful cycle in the games industry where entrepreneurs and creatives with really good ideas start studios and they grow them into something special and people fall in love with their games. And by virtue of their games, they fall in love with those studios. And it takes a lot of guts and a lot of risk to do that sort of thing. But when it happens, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. Eventually, those companies get bigger and their ideas expand. And then at some point in time, they probably become too big. Maybe they get acquired by somebody. Usually, by the time they become a corpse, Microsoft buys them and adds them to their pile of bodies that they call a studio. And that's sort of the cycle. But there's this really great middle ground between the people who are just starting out and coming up with creative and interesting smaller ideas and the corpse pile that you find at Activision, right? And that is like this, I don't want to say AA studio because they make AAA games, but like AA in size, like a Bethesda, right? Where they're independent, fully independent. I'm talking about Bethesda before they got acquired. They're probably a bad example today. But at one point, if you think about Bethesda or Ubisoft back in the day before they became enormous, there's this great middle ground of these studios that are still independent, but they're not answering to anybody. They're self-owned. They're private companies, and they get to do these super cool things. And what I have seen is those companies disappear for a really long time. And Bethesda is a great example of a super recent one. They were filling that slot of like making great games, but not being beholden to anybody as a private company. And they got acquired. From Software is a great example. Actually, they do have a parent company. But yeah,
Bandai
Namco. So they're actually not even a good example. Larian is a great example. Thank you for throwing that out there.
Yeah,
Larian's a great example. Those companies have steadily stopped existing. And the reason I bring this up is to not preach or whatever, but because 2 years ago, when Bungie sold their company, I was devastated because I wanted Bungie to fill that void. And I think they had an opportunity to do it. And the dream they were selling their own employees and their players was that they were going to try. That is not easy. It takes a ton of risk to double down on your own company and say, hey, we're actually going to not sell for the billions of dollars now because we want hundreds of billions of dollars later. But you have to believe in yourself enough to do it. And I wish that Bungie had the courage and their board of directors had the appetite for risk enough to take that leap, because I could see this vision for what Bungie could have become, where they could have replaced that void that's currently unoccupied by companies like Bethesda. And so I just want players to expect more from these studios and to support them however they can and to encourage them to not sell, because I see a lot of celebration where companies get acquired, like, yay, they did it. And to some of that, there's some extent, I think you can say that about Bethesda because they were their own business for 30 years and got so big that it kind of didn't really matter, right? It's like, all right, whatever. They're kind of already there at that point. But I think that there's a real opportunity for companies like Bungie to step up and reclaim that part of the industry and do awesome shit that just isn't happening right now in the games industry. And I think Bungie could have done it. It's why my heart was broken 2 years ago. I don't think it had to be like this. And I hope that the future developers look at this as an example of how wrong it can go when you do not believe in yourself and bet on yourself. Because that's what I think happened here.
Another thing I do want to add on to that is just the idea of, if we want to support some of these ideas that get out there in the world from all these other companies, as Cog's talking about the circle of life, and some of these companies having smaller hopes to try and take this risk, try and get out there and experience as many of these indies and other games that you can. Give them a chance. Understand the difference also in what you're going to be getting, but also, like, just know, like, if you play something that's in a AA space, that you're not going to get Elden Ring, but you can still have a fun time with something, see if a studio is going to support something. But if everybody just goes for free-to-play giant AAA budgets or AAA games, and you just have the Call of Duty, Madden, and all, those three, or as Cog likes to put it, burger, fries, and Coke for certain studios. Yeah, it's like for burger, fries, and a shake. I love how it's a shake and not a drink. Just that's one of the reasons, even for me growing up versus again me now, the more variety of things that you get a chance to play is where you're going to find some of these little gems. Give somebody who has like a creative vision a chance to have some success, and then with that success they can hopefully take that and build other things. Vampire Survivors, Stardew Valley, Terraria, Balatro, all of these little things that somebody just like got a chance to create something really cool. Those don't happen And those people aren't allowed to have success if we can't like find those games. If you just live in the big ones and you miss
No,
out on all the
absolutely.
other stuff, it's definitely a good reason to go check out a lot of
Yeah.
other things out there. Steam Next Fest is great for a bunch of demos. Random stuff like the altars. I don't even know what the gameplay is
Oh
going to be
yeah, I love
like,
that.
but that one is just such a trip.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one that Travis got to preview, Eternal Strands. That one looks pretty cool. You've got Flintlock that I just got done playing through. Um,
Mhm. I know because
I'll
both my games considered not definitely
oh,
probably still
Kunitsugami?
AAA, but I love me some
Oh no,
Kunitsugami. Oh
that's
my
one
god,
like
I
I'm gonna
can't
be
stand it.
putting it on
Oh
my
my
Steam
god.
Deck as well.
Woo!
And yeah, it's like
Oh yeah.
Kunitsugami is another one. It's like Capcom doing a weird thing. And that's
Mhm.
another thing. Capcom is one of the random ones. They'll still do some weird stuff. They also have the
Yeah.
Resident Evil, and that's the point where you actually see a company with a little bit of balance to it, where they do have the big tent pole. Somebody in their company managed to convince leadership to say, "Let me make this weird ass game."
It's a weird
And
game. Yeah.
somebody said yes, and they get to see some cool successes. Like not everything's going to land like an Exoprimal, but you got to be able to take some risks. But it
Mhm.
just look out if you want to enjoy this industry, look outside of like just the top
Absolutely.
AAA, quadruple A sometimes. Like those can be fun too, but you got to look for the other stuff in between.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the independent game scene. That's one of my favorite things to talk to independent developers, and you see you see more of the creativity, and then it's such a success story where they do hit it big. And look, I get what Travis is saying, no doubt. You know, you always want that to take place, and people take bets on themselves. I just think of the reality of the games industry. It's very volatile, it's very difficult, and
Yeah.
I can't knock someone for trying to take a bag to survive. Or they want to just cash out. Some people,
It
the goal
wasn't
is,
to
hey,
survive, it was to
well,
cash out.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about not everyone's reasoning. I'm just saying some
Yeah.
people want to cash out, some people want to do that.
Well, no,
The
like
other thing is
you
the
see like
elephant
an
in the
indie,
room
like
is
what you're talking
Yeah, and
about.
I don't blame entrepreneurs should be able to cash out. I'm not arguing against them being able
Mhm.
to like profit from the hard work they did.
Mhm.
I just think that they took a short gain for in favor of a what could have been a very long-term game, because
Mhm.
what Bungie was acquired for and what Bethesda was acquired for are very different numbers, and I just want there to be more appetite for that.
Yeah, you want that middle ground
Yeah.
in the industry. I
Yeah.
get it. And I think for me with Bungie, what bothers me is just that how badly they're financially mismanaged. It's concerning
Oh, I
to
can't
me. You know
imagine
what I
their
mean?
books, honestly. But I
Yeah,
mean,
like
somebody in chat even asked, "Is like, isn't there a CFO like kind of figuring out the projections?" I'm like, yeah, somebody who failed at their job, unfortunately, and projected
right.
way too high based off of some like record number. That's probably also the same thing that Sony bought them on if they overpaid theoretically.
Yeah, but and think about the sales pitch. The movie, this universe, and it was almost like a cinematic
Yeah,
universe you
where
were
is
buying from
any
them.
of that now?
None
By
of
the
that has
way,
come to
none of that
fruition. And
exists.
then when I see his statements in reference to all those things, and now I'm like, I see what you sold them on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You want their money.
I think it's Sony was like, look, either they turn this around somehow, which we don't think is going to happen, or they don't, and we take all their people, which was the plan from the beginning, guys. That's
Oh
why
yeah.
I said this is bad for Bungie as soon
Mhm.
as they got acquired, because it's like they want the people. It was an acqui hire,
Yeah.
not an acquire.
Yeah, the talent in that studio, what it takes to get hired at Bungie, that is like creme de la creme getting in there.
Oh
So
yeah.
anybody who
Yeah.
works there, as Travis
Yeah.
is saying, is elite talent that now Sony hopefully can either
Mhm.
use to help create whatever's still going to happen at
Oh,
Bungie, or if they can
let me
find
shout out
other
the homie.
internal roles.
Let me shout out the homie Flame. Lord's giving that name. He said, just drop by to state my condolences to the devs. The fact that it's not fair. No, very
Yeah.
fair. And shout out to you. That's my Warframe guy. He wrote a
Mm.
story on this whole situation at LordsGaming.net. But
Nice.
yeah, it's definitely it's sad that those are the ones who are punished. And that's the bittersweet part. It's just like, damn, final shape, right? So amazing,
Yeah.
all the hard work,
That
and then
was, I
damn.
think that kind of summed it up is when I saw it's like you put out the best expansion potentially Destiny's ever done in the past 11 years, plus whatever it took before Destiny 1 came out. Truly the best, land the plane, best expansion, cinematics, moments, tears, joy, like crazy, everything. And then now
And I will give Travis
then they're
this.
given this, and it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's brutal. But
The way I'm
we've
looking at it, I know last point now, and
I'm
my
like
last
trying to get to the
exciting.
next part here.
Sorry, my last. I'm almost gonna treat this emotionally. Like Terminator 2 is one of my greatest favorite movies of all time. Right? Love that movie. As far as I'm concerned, the series ended with Terminator 2. That's how I'm looking at the final shape right now.
That's
Really
fair.
that bad?
Oh, bro, I hated Terminator 3. I couldn't stand it. But as far as to me, Terminator 2 was like the perfect send off. You know what I mean?
Christian Bale's was
No.
okay.
okay.
What was that one? I'm trying to remember. Yeah,
I thought
there's been a lot
one
of
of
weird
them
ones.
one of them was good if you didn't see the trailer because it had like 3 twists and they were all spoiled in the
Oh,
trailer.
yeah,
that
the
was
trailer,
so
yeah.
confusing.
I
I
hate
was
that
like,
crap.
why? I was like, this movie could have been successful if you didn't screw yourself over with
I mean,
this
that's
horrible
Doomsday
trailer.
and that's Doomsday and
Yeah,
Yeah.
Doomsday. all over
Salvation,
again.
I think is wait, no, was
Salvation.
it
No,
Salvation?
yeah, it was decent. It was decent. I remember that one.
Yeah,
It was decent.
there was
Yeah.
one where he came back old. I don't know what that one was called, but
Yeah, there's
that-
there's
yeah.
some.
Anyway,
What I
Yeah.
wanted to
That's-
get to next is
Go ahead.
Act 2 has wrapped
yes,
up,
yes.
and I wanted
Sorry.
to pass it to Scarrow since he's been pretty patient for a
Oh,
little
Keep
bit.
it patient.
We
Sorry,
wrapped
sorry.
up Act 2, and I wanted to get your thoughts on because we haven't had you on basically since the episodic stuff started, and obviously before Final Shape. But what are your thoughts so far on Act 1 and Act 2 for Echoes? And then what are your thoughts after this week? What are your thoughts on kind of the episodic
Yeah. I don't
overall,
know.
and then also on this week's delivery?
The pacing is killing me. Holy, I am so worried about how they're going to be doing episode 2, where they drop everything week 1.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be, oh my god, it's gonna be pulling teeth. It'll be running a cheese grater over my nipples. Holy, it's just like
You don't want to run battlegrounds and breach protocol multiple times.
like, don't get me wrong. I actually like some of the content. A lot of the content I think is pretty good. Like the battlegrounds are easily the best battlegrounds we've ever gotten. I think the second one especially is phenomenal. I love it.
The one where we went further down in the Nessus. I'm trying to remember specifically.
Second one is the with the aqueduct that you jump across.
Oh, the
and then-
aqueducts with the things. Yeah.
and
Is
it's
that
got
with
kind of the
the-
Atheon final boss.
the
Minotaur
Atheon box,
boxes in the
Oh, you
end,
like
that one?
You like that Atheon
No, that's the
vibe,
first
huh?
one.
Oh, okay.
You like Scarrow? You like that Atheon vibe? Coming up.
Sorry, that's actually Batheon, his cousin. But
You know, I had to do it. I had to do it.
I'm also like the 3% of people that love like the radiolite specimen farms to get the
Yes.
purple ones. I love that shit. No one likes that shit. I love
you were
that
here.
shit.
You're here.
The guns have been pretty good. Enigma Protocol with a secret mission from the first part was pretty cool.
Mhm.
The first seasonal activity was super mid. Don't like it. And then I don't know. Like some of the it's fun. It's like a decent season, like comparatively. You know what I mean? But the spacing is horrendous. It's ridiculous. And I just don't think it gets better from here. So that's what. And the narrative is fine. I think it would have been, instead of just Saint having an existential crisis, I think it would have been a lot more interesting if Maya was like all Exos I
see where
hate
you're going.
themselves.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Then there's like, and like maybe your character, if you're an Exo, starts having weird stuff, but they'll never go that grand scale. I don't know. I don't like these individual focused in stories. And yeah, it's like the first 2 acts didn't even matter because Saint was like, oh, I hate myself. Oh, actually, I'm pretty cool. Great. Glad we spent 7 weeks on that.
Yeah,
Or whatever, you know what I mean?
It's a little crisis. It's a little crisis. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the narrative. I'm not a big fan of the spacing. The gameplay's been good enough, in my opinion. So
yeah.
that's kind of where I am.
Fair
Dog?
enough. Yeah.
I gotta
Caught
go to Mr. Positivity on the
Yeah.
story here.
Shout out to the great story of the Echoes, man. On the
Can
edge
I
of our
have the
seat.
drugs that you're on whilst you're playing the story?
Love it, man.
I
Look,
need
you
these
know,
drugs.
I'm a fan.
you're
of the-
joking, right?
I'm a
Ironically,
fan of. I'll tell you what I'm a fan of. I'm a fan of the battlegrounds. I do like to me they're grander strike. They're on a wider level. And then what I like what they do is the continuation of the past one.
The progression is cool.
The progressions you see. Okay, now we're going deeper now into the Radiant Link. So from a structural standpoint, yes. The story delivery has just been brutally slow. It's just that part has been crazy. But I do like the development, like I said, of the whole going back to Satan, the whole what is it? Is he him? And going back to the grave. I thought that was a nice little key point. One of the few things that I liked during the Sundial mission, which was going to the grave of Satan 14 and then the
So
whole
we're
download.
revisiting. Now we're reusing story beats.
They're definitely going back
We're
to
using
that. for
story
sure.
beats, but the environment is in these missions is absurd. It's criminal that we can't go visit these places.
I
more than
know.
once.
I
I want
know.
I want all of Nessus to look like this. Travis looks like he gets shot with a tranquilizer. So we'll
Bring
get to
back Venus.
Yeah, and they had what's funny is they had to explain that Mercury was not in the game,
It was
so
so
thematically
bad.
they had to.
Oh no! Well,
Tommy,
I
it's
mean,
not your-
yeah, I was speculating. I was like, are we actually going to go back to the Infinite Forest?
Yeah, like how they gonna
I
do
was like,
this?
that seems really out of the realm of possibility. And of course, I was like, of course we didn't.
It's just a Nessus now.
It just Nessus. And
Mercury was Nessus.
I'm
the
sorry, it's an
entire time.
archive. It's an archive
archive.
of the
Yeah.
Infinite Forest on Nessus.
Yes. But
That's
what
how
I
you
will
get away
love,
with
and
bullshit.
again, what I play Destiny for, I know Travis is dying right now, but what I enjoy Destiny for is the gunplay, and I love apparent action. I got my role. I was able to focus it.
Aberrant.
Aberrant. Yeah,
At
got
least
that
say
joint.
it right. Jesus.
Whatever it is, I got it. I love it.
Aberrant means like not normal.
Yeah, I hated the fact that I had to go through that NES 05 whole thing just to get the focusing though. That don't time gate the focusing, bro. Like that pissed me the hell off. But I got that joint, and I will
Terrible.
say with the which you're hilarious, with the artifact, the sniper, whispers outside, boys. I'm just letting y'all know. Like this what is it? The sniper's meditation perk with the ignition and all that stuff. Absolutely love it. So I got my builds. Everything is rocking and rolling. And our warlocks are undefeated right now. I don't know if you saw that broken build that we got right now. We are completely busted with Ergo Sum. And you get the one that has the that gives you the lightning aura.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, you run that with the what you call it? The getaway artist build. Bro, you're unkillable. You can have like the amplified reduced DR. You have so much damage reduction. It's insane. So I'm just out here cheesing content, doing stuff. So it's great.
Back
if
from
you're
the
a build
dead,
guy,
just calling you out in chat though. I love it.
I love it. Yes, I got the frog. Shout out to the frog. I did that. I was
No, he
some
asked
major
if you
smoke
licked
beat.
the frog to get
I ain't
on
licked the frog.
on the
But
hallucination that you're
if
experiencing
y'all
right now.
not happy, that's y'all. Don't let y'all negativity infect me. I'm having a good time getting my weapons.
You know,
And
I
jump
will
in
say
for
the
it.
frog is the
I'm
high
sorry.
point of the narrative for me.
I'm sorry,
Hold
we're
on.
yucking your yum, but yeah.
No, it's all good. I jump in for my 1-2. This is why I love it. But this is the real. I jump in for my one day. I get everything done. And then I go back to my
So
other
you're
game.
really looking forward
It's
to
great.
episode 2, right?
Oh,
Just jump in
hell
for
yeah.
one
This
day
is
So you're-
and then come
fantastic.
back in
Wait,
6
wait,
weeks.
wait. Let me-
Reset, I get everything done, and I do my favorite mission of all time.
Point of
Incision,
order,
and then I get it, and I'm lit. Love it.
Mr. Chairman. Point of order.
Love it. Love it.
Point of inquiry.
Yes.
You're saying you like it because it makes you not play it very much.
I play it less. I don't have to live in it. I could
Okay.
do other things. Love it.
No further questions.
Yes. Good.
The
Love
defense
content.
rests.
Bring it on. More seasons so I can continue to live a healthy life and do other things.
So the,
Love it.
Yeah.
the prosecution
My
rests.
point is,
Got it.
if one of your main compliments about the game that you say that you enjoy is that you like that you don't have to play it that much, I think maybe you have an unhealthy relationship with that game.
Well, it was. That's what happened with Final Shape, bro. I was like, how many more things is it? Y'all telling me there's a dual mission that unlocked. I'm like, God damn, I can't keep up for.
But wasn't it fun?
Bro, for a content creator, God bless y'all. Y'all was eating. I watched all your guides eat. Scaro, you were killing it. Love you, God. I am glad I get to take a break. Thank God I can do this.
But wouldn't it be
seasonal
better
tune
if-
in next week model? Yes.
Wouldn't it be better if your break was that they just made no Destiny content
no, I
since
don't
what
want
they're
that.
making you play is bad?
Cut that out.
Just because you hate it, don't impose your hate on me.
Why
I'm in a good
why
place.
do you want more mediocre or bad content
I'm not saying
so
I don't
that you
want
can
it.
avoid playing it as much as possible?
That's not what I'm saying.
Just
That's
don't
not
make
what
the
I'm saying.
content.
That's not what I'm saying. They can
You're saying
make
it in
good
virtue
seasonal-
of your argument, which is
No,
that
they
you
can
like
make
that you don't
good-
have to play it.
They can make better seasonal content. I just like the seasonal.
I
mode.
like
don't
Flamin'
have this
Sarge
issue.
right now. He's like, I
Yeah,
love
that's a
pizza,
good
but
point.
I'm not going to eat
Yeah.
it 24/7.
Yeah, 'cause
but
he
don't
like me.
stop
I'm
making
supposed to hate it.
pizzas.
Like, nah, that's you.
That's
You
not
take
what
your
this
issue
is,
yourself.
though.
I know. I
But
just
he's
thought-
not
I just thought it was
saying
funny.
he's not saying I like pizza. I'm glad I don't have to eat it every day.
Mm.
He's saying I'm glad I don't have to vacuum my floor every day, which I get because it would be worse if you didn't have to do it or if you had to do it every day, but it would be better if you never had to vacuum at all.
That's for you. For you, sir. And that's great that you don't want to do any of it. That's awesome. For me, they can make
Okay.
the seasonal model better, but I am okay with just jumping in, getting my little space chores done in a reasonable hour, and then I'm out. Love it.
Here's my stance.
Mhm.
If you like this season, if this seems like good content to you, you have bad taste, and you
I
should
didn't
stop.
say that. You're
talking.
putting words
Whoa,
in my
whoa, whoa.
mouth.
I
said-
never said you said that. I'm
Okay,
just
okay.
saying in general, this is my audience to
Why?
anybody who likes it. If you like this, you have bad taste.
No,
It
that
is
your
bad.
opinion. That is an opinion for you.
So yours.
You
Yours is
can't
also an opinion.
impose your
Therefore,
opinion of somebody
I would also
else.
like to
You're
point out that
trying
we're
to put
talking about this in a very
really-
black and white way, but there are definitely ways to enjoy parts of this content and not all of it, or the
Yes, it's
delivery,
subjective.
or the cadence.
and those
trying to-
are also guys. Guess what? It works both ways. Those are your opinions. I let you say yours.
Yes.
Time to hear mine, bitch.
Yeah,
all right.
You've already
If you
spoken.
like this
bitch.
content, if you like this content, you have
Mhm.
bad
No,
taste.
no,
You
that
should
is
stay
your
away
opinion.
from stating your opinion
Good.
in
You
front of
can
other
stay
people.
away. You
in
can stay
polite
away.
company.
Let us rock out who
Why
enjoy
aren't
what
you
we
letting
wanna
me
do.
state my opinion, Cog? Are you
Yeah.
afraid? I let you say
No, not at
yours.
all. You've interrupted me like 3 times during the course of me talking about how I liked it. That's why I knew
No, I
you
didn't.
were affected. You literally
Let's
interrupted
roll-
me. I couldn't even finish that I liked it because you
Let-
interrupted
let-
me 3 times when I was talking.
I interrupted you to ask a clarifying question. You're
Uh-huh.
interrupting me while I'm trying to state
I'm
my
just doing what
opinion.
you do.
So let's
I'm
chill.
just doing
Let's
what you
chill,
do when I
Cog.
talk.
Let's
I'm just
chill.
doing what
Let's
you do
chill.
when I talk. That's all. When I
All
talk,
right.
you interrupt, and it's cool. When I do it, there's a problem.
Are you done?
Okay. No, are you
Okay, I can talk now. Okay, great.
Yes, good.
If you like this game right now, as you're playing it this season, you have bad taste. You shouldn't talk to people about your opinions because they're bad, and you'll infect other people with your horrible, horrible taste. The story is bad. The gameplay is bad. The activities are bad. The model's bad. The pacing's bad. Every time I log on to play the season, I am in pure pain. None of it is good. That's my opinion.
All right, so maybe you should just stop playing.
I would love to, but unfortunately, it's my job to play it.
That's your fault. That's your problem. That maybe you should get another job because clearly you don't enjoy what you're doing. That's the point. I'm still having a good time.
Cog, it is my job to play the game and say how I feel about it. Sometimes, let me finish. As can be referenced really recently, sometimes I do enjoy Destiny. And you can see that I enjoyed it when I played the Final Shape because they made good content. This, they should just not make it because it's like Lightfall. Destiny would be in a better place health-wise if Lightfall never came out. And I think that is true of this seasonal content. The game would benefit by all the players getting to take a break and them only putting out content when there's good stuff to play. It is my job to play it and to say how I feel about it. Right now, I feel like this content specifically is bad and they should have just skipped it. And I felt like the Final Shape was good because clearly it got more time in the oven and love and attention and the content was better. And I just wish that they would stop doing this to themselves because it gives me a bad impression of their game. And I just want them to just, it's cool to give us space. That's all.
That's fair. And guess what? Newsflash, content's still coming. Newsflash.
I know, I'm so
all that
upset.
you talking is not gonna stop. And guess what?
I know,
and guess
but
what?
I can still complain about it.
Let me finish.
I can still complain.
Are you finished? Because I'll let you talk. Okay.
I'm just saying I can still complain.
How you doing,
There we go.
Scarrow? You good? You all right, Scarrow?
Like I said, and guess what? Content's still going to come out, and guess what? We're still going to talk about it. So all the complaining, all the bitching isn't going to stop us talking about it. And guess
I never said it would.
Some people, I'm talking, and guess what? Some people are still going to enjoy the content. That's the point I'm getting at.
Yes. Okay, great. And those people have bad taste.
Yeah, that's your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done now.
Hey, the exotic mission's gonna be fucking awesome, though. Okay,
Yeah, we're far enough in. That one can probably stay.
let's go.
We're almost 2 hours in. I'll probably leave that one in. If you made it 2 hours in and you have a problem with the F-bomb, sorry.
Sorry,
I apologize.
sorry, man.
There's
Yeah,
some
I mean,
kid crying
look, we
right
know
now.
it's gonna be one of the biggest ones ever. The strings are out there. It looks pretty cool. It's like,
I haven't looked into anything about that one yet.
don't worry about it.
Is there
Just go into it.
any hope of this season episode? Is there any hope of this episode, totally different than a season, rebounding in Act 3? Is there any hope?
Completely rebounding? No. I look at the acts as completely separate content. I mean, especially at this point, the story's completely different. Like, it's all going to be no. It's
I think you're right, because I think
Yeah.
like if you liked a TV show but you said, yeah, but the first 5 episodes were slow, that doesn't mean that the 5 episodes that you watched that were slow are now better because the rest of the season wasn't. It just means it got better, right? So
I
I'm with you there.
It's weird because with seasons, typically everything, all the activities drop at once, and you can pick what you want to do. And for like, let's pick a season like Season of the Deep. Overall, decent season. You had deep dives, which were pretty fun. They were unique for Destiny, and then you had Salvage, which sucked. But like, Deep wasn't made worse. Season of the Deep wasn't made worse if you didn't like Salvage, because you weren't forced to play it for 6 weeks. But here, you were forced to play the bad first activity for 6 weeks, and then the decent Battlegrounds came out, and that doesn't make the first 6 weeks better. And then we had how many weeks? 12 weeks of like mess story, and now we're gonna finally get 6 weeks with good story. That doesn't make the mess story better. So it's like, I don't like this pacing. I think it doesn't do him any justice. I completely agree. You isolate the bad parts of the season, and you don't even you isolate the good parts of the season too, but that means they can't cover up the mistakes of the bad parts of the season. And I think that's a bad, good and bad are relative, Travis. Decent parts of the season. And,
I understand that you guys are measuring all of this by the Destiny bar that is extremely low for seasonal content.
Yes.
I get that. I don't do that. I judge games based on just a strict, they're wasting my time or they're not, and that's why I tend to be harsher on seasons.
I need your IGN rating of Act 1 and Act 2.
Oh, geez, they're like...
Act 1 is absolutely a 3. It's awful. And Act 2 is a 4. Bad.
Okay. I just was trying to put a number on it, so now we're good.
Act 2 is slightly better because you at least have one plot development, but then you also have them like recanting the plot development they set up in Act 1 of Saint having a crisis. He like resolves it in the middle of the story. It makes no sense. Like, I don't even... What was the point of that beat?
Kill time. Fill 6 weeks.
Dude, it was crazy. It was the craziest thing.
I totally agree. I mean, like, Maya Sundaresh is the figurehead of the season, and she hasn't been introduced until literally the end of Act 2. That's not how you do story development. I don't know what's up with that.
No, I mean, this is kind of where I was at the end of Act 1. I was like, nothing happened. So then we get to the end of Act 2, and we finally meet Maya Sundaresh as the conductor. That should have happened somewhere in Act 1. That at least would have given you an introduction to the villain. We still don't have much of we have a little motivation of what she's going for. Now she just wants to take over the world. Not really anything new. Just wants to be vexy all the time. And but that should have happened in Act 1. So what that makes me think about the writing for this season is it's just very thin. There is not a lot of a story that they're going to tell over Vex because there isn't much there, and they couldn't come up with much related to Vex, so they just stretched us out trying to track something down for a very long time, an extremely long time. It's like the longest montage, but it took 9 weeks for us to get to the end of the montage of tracking to finally get to the end. Now, there were moments where Osiris and Saint had real, like, actual discussions over a couple of things in there. Those were decent moments, but they could have taken place nowhere related to this episode. They are just a moment of them actually having a relationship, and part of my issue with this entire episodic model 1, 2, and 3 is the fact that right now, being as we have no idea what the future is, and if these rumors are true, it is even less than we could have possibly hoped for. We don't know what the future is, but right now I'm sitting there, you say you got Aberrant Action. I'm like, cool. Do I need another weapon to grind for right now to do all of the same stuff for the next year and a half? It doesn't feel like there's a lot for me to go for. Now, does a dungeon probably pull in maybe some need for higher level stuff? If I get everything at Pinnacle and we don't get a level increase with the episodes, which I doubt we will, so we're just going to be sitting at 2,000, and once you get to Pinnacle, you'll be Pinnacle capped. And then we're just going to get the episodic restart as well. I just don't have much motivation even right now. I haven't even hardly unlocked many patterns because I know the guaranteed red border every week that I log in for, it's going to be sitting there waiting for me, and I don't have to rush it. So my incentive personally has been very low to play after Final Shape, and I had a lot of fun, as Travis said, in Final Shape, but in these episodic things, the story of this Vex thing, they said they're going to be standalone stories. So it takes us 6 weeks to meet the villain. We're going to have 3 weeks of something, and then maybe this, like, and then for the people who aren't deep into the lore of Destiny, there are at least probably 2/3 of the people who didn't even know who the hell Maya Sundaresh was when that name popped out of her mouth. And you get to that point, there's no buildup of who it is, there's no discussion of where she came from, there's no motion graphic to explain where it came from, and that could be a
recap in the helm of the Veil lore. It's like a 30-second exposition.
Yeah, and the veil that's buried so far off the director's screen, people probably still haven't even gone and done that thing. So all of that stuff is like, mine is the fact that it's like, I enjoy like watching those little moments between Saint and Osiris, but those could truly take place anytime in the past 10 years because that is just their relationship and we're getting to see it on screen, which is cool. I don't mind seeing that, but it has nothing to do with the story. Very little, I should say, at least. Yes, you say he has an existential crisis as, am I really this person? Are these memories weird? And the only reason they're involved is because we have to find some way to tie Vex into the only person tied to that story, and they messed with his mind. And then, as you said, he fixed it on his own. He's like, oh, I'm good. Okay, Osiris believes in me. And that's actually nice that the faith in Osiris, the faith in Saint comes from Osiris. I'm like, that builds their relationship. But they could have an existential crisis in anything. It has very little relation to the story. The battlegrounds are decent. I don't mind those, but I'm also kind of the same. I'm like, how many times do I want to go run the Vanguard playlist right now? Probably not much more than I want to go run the battlegrounds at this point. There's not much motivation for me to go run battlegrounds over and over and over. And if I actually somehow had all of the patterns done, there would be even less. That is kind of where I'm at right now. And I'm actually surprised lately that I have been so uncompelled to play Destiny that like I'll log in and I'll hit the wrong menu button to do something or the interact button because I've been playing a lot of like Once Human or something else and it's like I'll hit F instead of E. I'll hit the wrong button on my keyboard. That's how little I've actually been playing. I'll check like my hours and stuff. I was like, and I'm not going to say the First Descendant did a whole lot of things right because it has plenty of issues on its own, but there is an in-game grind that you can feel in that game. And when you unlock your optimizations, which are a crazy grind, don't get me wrong. If you don't like grindy games, that's not your thing. But if you do put in the time, you feel the power difference. If I put in my time right now, I don't feel different from almost 6 months ago. I feel basically the same. So that's where I'm kind of at. And the story pacing for me, I'm like, what are you going to do in 3 weeks that you haven't done in 6 already? We met the person. Okay, we got 3 weeks to now chase her again and then shoot her. I don't know. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I was like, it doesn't feel like there's much. And if it's self-contained, it's not going to continue into Revenant because they say you can play these things later on and come back to them and still have the complete story. So in 3 weeks, we're going to close this little story, but it's going to be 15 weeks to get to 3 weeks that may matter. And I don't know if they even will at this point. So far, Act 1 and Act 2 has not proven to me that Act 3 is going to do much worthwhile in the story. It's like, this would be one of the books, like if my wife was reading, it's like, I'm bored, I would probably be like, she tends to finish her books, I'll give her credit for that, and this is one of those, we're Destiny players, we're going to finish our act, we're going to finish Act 3 and see the story through, but it's like one of those, you could probably put it down and be just as happy with your time the other way. So that's kind of thing, is like, if builds with, what am I trying to think of?
Apparent
prismatic. No,
prismatic?
If builds with prismatic are fun for you, that's totally fine. But there's a point where like you can only put so many more builds together. After a while, it is going to be.
Let me jump in because I see this commentary. I think that me and Travis has started. I want to get ahead of it. Like, look, everything you guys are saying on a personal level for your enjoyment is fine. If this no longer gives you enjoyment, that's fine.
You realize that I didn't knock yours once.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying in general.
So I was like, I didn't touch your enjoyment at all.
No, I get that. I'm just saying in general. But we have to. The thing that I don't like about gaming discourse right now is joy stealing. I really am not a fan of that. If you enjoy something for whatever reason you enjoy it, no one should tell you or try to stop you from having fun or minimizing fun. And that's the part I'm trying to get away from, because there's certain aspects of this game and other games that I like that no one likes and no one will ever like. But no one's going to tell me I can't have fun and I'm not having fun doing the things that I enjoy. And I just be honest, I don't appreciate when people be like, yo, that's terrible what you're doing. Like, I will never go to someone else in someone else's timeline and be like, yo, you having fun? That's trash, though.
That's why I said this is where I'm coming from.
I just want to express my opinion. This is what I see in gaming discourse lately, and I hate it. We have to allow people to enjoy things for whatever reason they enjoy. That's what they do. But to sit there and come at someone because they enjoy it, that's whack. I'm sorry. I'll never get on board with that because everyone likes things for different reasons. I enjoy this game for build crafting. I literally get joy out of that. I enjoy doing the combinations with the class items.
We are allowed to have different opinions, and I'm not crapping on yours.
I'm not saying you are. I'm just talking about in general in gaming discussion. That's what I want to get back to. Let people enjoy things if they're having fun. That's all I'm saying.
I will completely disagree with what Cog said. So the problem with Cog's opinion
I love
here,
how that was like trying to be civil and everything. And
sorry.
The
problem with Cog's opinion here is that people who say, hey, stop telling me not to have fun. First of all, no one's telling you that. Like what I said in my thing is that I thought that the game. Wait! I didn't interrupt you. I didn't interrupt you, Cog. I didn't interrupt you. I didn't interrupt you.
I'm giving context to what you
I did
said,
not
though.
give. I did not interrupt you.
Context.
Can you let me finish my thing, please?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
We're gonna start muting panelists.
The problem with people who take that opinion is they say, "Oh, you're telling me not to have fun." No. People are expressing negative opinions, and then people are saying, oh my God, if you don't enjoy it, just stop playing it. As if those opinions that are negative are less valuable simply because they're negative. Negative opinions are equally as important, sometimes more important than positive opinions, and they're equally valid. And so I think some people use the fact that they enjoy games as a way to refute or say, to invalidate criticism. Criticism is valid and it needs to be spoken by people who feel that way. And other people say, why are you even commenting on the game if you don't like it? Just stop playing it. Or how about I get to play it too and I get to state my opinion and you don't get to say, hey, because I like the game and you don't, you should stop talking about it. How about we both get to talk about it? I get to say I don't like it. You get to say that you do like it. And then you stop telling me what I can't say to you about what I think about the game.
The difference
it's
Travis,
bullshit.
Travis,
can I mediate real quick?
I was going to say, Travis,
you missed the point.
No, the difference in Travis of what you said is fair. Anybody can have an opinion and critique. The difference is the way you started your discussion to Cog is the fact that you said you're wrong.
Thank you.
That is the one thing that you said.
Listen to himself.
You literally said Cog is wrong. That is where you crossed your own line. But that's where you crossed your own line.
No, that's not it. That's not it.
You can't tell him he's wrong to enjoy a game. You can say, I feel this way about a game, but you can't say, I feel this way and your opinion is wrong.
Wait, listen to the word.
What's going on?
Hold on. I said that he has bad taste, which is also an opinion. That doesn't mean stop enjoying the game. It just means it is bad. And the fact that you think that it's good means that I think that you have bad taste in games.
At that point, you go from attacking the game to attacking a different person.
Yeah,
no, I'm attacking his opinions. I'm attacking his opinions. People are so fragile online. If you say you have bad taste, you're attacking the fact that they have certain opinions. You're attacking those opinions. I didn't say you have bad taste.
Just missing someone's opinions.
What's good taste?
Good taste is people who like the games that I like. Obviously, everybody feels that way. That's exactly it. That's my point.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Of course you can.
Your own argument.
Of course you can. This is people's problem. They're so fragile. I didn't say, look, you have bad taste because you're stupid. That would be an attack on you. I said, you have bad taste because the things that you like aren't fun and you have low standards in games, and I think that isn't where we should be going. The games
so that is
very different. Of course, that's the whole point, and so therefore you shouldn't feel attacked. I didn't say you have objectively wrong opinions.
No, Travis,
I didn't say that.
I got to stop and say, if you say he shouldn't feel attacked, you should not comment on his taste, his opinion, or otherwise. You can say, if you are enjoying this game, that is fine. In my opinion, I don't like these things about the game. You can have different opinions about something, but if you sit there and if you tell me it's like, I think your taste is shit, that is a direct attack on an individual about their thoughts.
It's an attack on your opinion.
It's a attack on your opinion.
You're saying my opinion sucks. I'm allowed to have my opinion, and you're allowed to have yours.
You are, but you realize you're invalidating my right to have an opinion that your opinion is bad. That's an opinion.
You're trying to say that both opinions are subjective, but you're trying to basically state one opinion is not worthy of another opinion. So
no. Now you're twisting my words. I said your opinion's the game's good, my opinion's the game's bad. I think your opinion is bad, and you think my opinion is bad. That's all okay. You can say, I think you're wrong. That doesn't mean I think you're bad or you're stupid. It just means I think you are wrong. That's an opinion. It's fine.
Okay, but there's also a different way to approach a conversation, to have a conversation with someone to say,
I agree. And people tend to try to walk that line. They try to walk on the eggshells of other people's opinions and say, oh, well, I'm not going to say that you're wrong directly. I'm just going to state my opinion, which is counter to yours, and walk around it. And I don't just buy that bullshit because it's fragility for no reason.
But what you're doing is unnecessary.
Why can't I just say that you're wrong if I disagree with you?
Because
why is that bad? Why does that have
How do you say someone's wrong if I say I enjoyed something? You can't tell me I'm wrong. Like,
no, but if you say that the story was good, I can say you're wrong.
But what if they enjoyed that story?
That's the qualifier.
Wait, was my argument ever that you guys didn't enjoy the things, or that you enjoying
that's
it
the
was...
argument you were just
Yeah,
making.
exactly. That's my point. No. You guys are taking it a step further. You're taking it a step further. No, you did.
Just now, I used your words. I quoted you when I said that.
What do you mean?
When I said, if you can't tell me I didn't enjoy something, you can't tell me...
so I never said that.
If I say I enjoyed something, you can't say you are wrong. Those were the exact words you used right before I said that.
No. Whoa.
Yes.
I said that
we're streaming.
I said you're wrong for enjoying it, but I didn't say you were wrong about it.
That's the problem. How can you say they are wrong for enjoying it? You can't tell.
Because I'm not. Wait. I'm not saying
I'm
that
just playing devil's advocate, but I'm using your words.
I know you are, Scarrow. But my point, there's a very big distinction between you are wrong for enjoying it because it was bad, and you are wrong about you enjoying it. I was never arguing that you guys didn't like it. I'm simply arguing that if you did like it, maybe your standards are too low for video games. That is a fine thing to attack. It's not a personal thing. It's just saying that your opinion is wrong, which is okay.
We're just gonna agree to disagree.
Yeah. That's the whole point.
And I would never do that to someone. I would never.
Why not?
No, because it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. No, it is.
I think you're doing it anyway.
There's no singing and dancing around it. If that gives someone joy, and I sit there and say your opinion of why you love that is wrong, that's just disrespectful, bro. It is.
But here's the thing, you're doing it anyway. Because if you state your opinion and it's in direct conflict to mine, you're already saying, I think your opinion's wrong. You're just dancing around it to be polite. And I want to normalize people being able... I want to
normalize people enjoying what they want to enjoy.
I'm never saying that people can't enjoy what they're going to enjoy, but I'm also saying that if you disagree with something, what's wrong with saying that?
It's okay to disagree. That part you're
right.
According
to you, it's not. According to you, I have to follow.
To say someone's opinion on something is wrong, we will never agree on that, brother. Ever.
You are already saying it. You're already doing it. You are already saying that you think that I'm wrong. It's just that you're not saying those words because of some weird politeness dance where you are. Why can't we just be friends who also say I think you're super wrong on this issue, and then that's okay? That's my point. Because then what are we normalizing? Are we normalizing the fact that we can't have a conversation about these things and that we can't fight back and forth? Isn't that the fun of having differing opinions, is being you're wrong and here's why? What's wrong with that? That sounds fun to me.
Like I said, opinions are subjective.
Exactly. But they can be debated.
And if someone enjoys something, to take someone else's joy away from something, I feel is wrong.
I'm not trying to do that. I
will tell you, that is a lot of the way that comes across.
Yeah. Hold on. Okay. All he asked me was how I felt about Echoes. All y'all went back into a seat. Y'all was doing faces. I couldn't even get the thing out. That's disrespectful. That's what I'm trying to tell you. No matter how you spin it, It's disrespectful. Or when
I-
you,
I-
I give you the opportunity to say why. I may not agree at the end of it, but it was just the way you delivered it, brother. It was out of pocket, and I had to call it out. I wasn't feeling it. I was like, damn, I don't do that to you. I never do that to you. Even if something there's been times I've harshly disagreed with you, and I'm just like, all right, let me let him get his rocks on. Let him hear where he's coming from, and then I'll state my joint. But the way you went about it, I was like, damn, I can't even like this thing. Like, okay, cool.
Well,
That's
yeah, I
what
mean,
I'm
if
saying.
I strongly disagree with you, obviously I'm going to strongly disagree with you. But I think that friends are honest with each other.
There's
I don't
a
think
difference
that
in
I
how you
don't.
present something, though, and it's all about like the tact of how you can handle something,
Yes.
whether it's a friend or a professional or anybody else. You can say, "Hey, you enjoyed the game." It's like, in my opinion, I thought the story was crap. That is exactly what somebody could say, and that's probably what I said when I came to my turn to actually talk about it. The difference when you started, your first couple of words were "you're wrong." And it's
Yeah, but that's
no, but that is
but you were saying that you were
stop talking. Stop.
you're saying it in different words.
Stop.
Okay, so do you want me on the
Stop.
show to not talk or to talk?
Let other
Why am
people,
I here?
all of us should try and let other people talk. I got it from my wife to a point. I hate it when people interrupt each other. Bugs the living shit out of me. Absolutely does. All the time. When you let somebody finish their sentence and then you actually listen and answer that person, that is you not waiting to talk. You are listening and then responding. Big difference. You are not trying to shove your thought into the middle of theirs. I can't even get my sentence out right now because you want to say something else. So hold on until that's all I'm trying to see, and you can't stop talking right there. There are
I'm not
points.
talking.
All I'm trying to say is the difference between when you can present that you do this all the time. You are an extremely good critic. Absolutely fair, reasoned, logical. This wasn't great. This was enjoyable. This was good. Those are your subjective opinions. They're usually pretty understandable to understand your reasoning. People can have different opinions about it. The difference is when we're sitting here having a discussion like this, what happens is I have an opinion. Scare has an opinion. You have an opinion. Cog has an opinion. If Cog gives his opinion and then you're the next one to come up and everybody goes and then you say, you are wrong, that invalidates his opinion. That is what you are doing, is invalidating his opinion. You're saying he's wrong. You can have a different
Correct.
opinion. You can have a different opinion, but you don't have to directly attack Cog's opinion. That's the difference. You can say, I thought the story was paced poorly. I thought these other things. That is your opinion. That's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with all of the reasons that you say you did not have a good time. The difference is you didn't turn around and attack me either. You didn't say so that you don't have to directly go after a person in that moment. That's all I'm saying. It's like the way you present it came off really poorly. That's all I was trying to say.
It was not my intention to go after everyone. And my point is, I wasn't doing that. I believe that when people disagree, they should go into a deeper level of engaging on the topic. And the model that you and Cog are proposing is the most shallow, uninteresting version of debate that exists. It's you state your opinion, I'll state my opinion, and we will not try to work through the differences. Working through the differences requires saying, I think you're wrong and here's why. Because two people can have an opinion, but if one is backed up by 5 or 6 reasons and pointing and citing different things, that opinion can be made stronger. And I think you only get there if I say, look, I think your opinion's wrong, and here's 5 reasons why I think it's right. You can then respond to that by going, yeah, well, you didn't change my mind and I still feel the way I feel, and that's fine. But if we want to get to a deeper level of discourse, I have to be able to say you're wrong, and I want to normalize that, and I want you guys to feel like it's not an attack on you, it's a criticism of your opinions. That's my point. That said, if you guys feel like I was attacking you because of saying that, then I apologize.
Thank you, brother. That's all I asked.
But to be clear, that was never my intention, and it's never what I want to do. I just don't want this show to be. Totally. And I respect that, Cog, and I was going to apologize, but I kept getting interrupted. I've been trying to apologize for like 5 minutes here. But yeah, my point is that I just don't want this show to be, here's 4 separate opinions stated separately that never intersect, and we don't ever try to reach some sort of
Of course.
debate on that or go
course.
deep further. And I think
Of course.
what E is proposing is 4 separate opinions that we never have to like parse through why we disagree.
In defense of E,
Scarrow, you got a
always
thought,
wants to
by
get
the
to
way?
deeper stuff. But
I think it's
I
just
know
a
what you're saying.
phrasing problem. I think that's
Yeah, it's
just
phrasing.
I was like, that mine is the way it came off in the moment was a direct attack. If you literally was just like, to me, like, you really enjoyed the story. For me, the story would come off as poorly paced. I didn't feel like the characters had a whole lot of weight to it. For me, those things are a struggle. So what about this is something you're enjoying? That's what you want to see. You want to get deeper into the nitty gritty. I'm totally fine with that. It was the way it happened in the moment, which was just directly felt like calling him out from an outside perspective. So if you want to get into a deeper discussion, that's totally fine. It is how you present that deeper discussion opens more people up to have that with you, because Cog is somebody who's going to usually tell you how it is, good, bad, or otherwise. You're somebody who's a very logical critic. You both are good at getting into the nitty gritty at stuff. But if you attack somebody's character, if you attack somebody's opinion, the way they form their ideas and say you're wrong, be like, hey, I had these struggles with the story. Then you come around and say, you really enjoyed the story. Maybe we won't agree on this, but this is kind of why. So there is just a more reasonable way to handle a situation. It doesn't mean you can't get into the nitty gritty of any topic. The world, you and I have talked about this before, about very larger topics about this. The world of nuance is extremely hard to have on the internet. So I'm happy to have a nuanced discussion about pretty much anything, if anybody is willing to have that with me. And half of the world is really having a struggle talking to the other half of the world right now. A lot about a bunch of different stuff. So I am always happy to have a civilized discussion. One thing that ticks me off is people talking over each other. And then the other thing is just how you interact with that person. And if it comes off that way and somebody says, hey, when you call this out to me, it comes off this way. If you accept that, you apologize, and then you can have the deeper discussion. That's great. That means you actually work through something. You're probably even closer afterwards. But it's just in the moment, that's how it goes.
It's over. We good.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. And for me, that thing you're talking about where half of the country doesn't want to talk to their country, or this other half of the country, I think that happens because they both state their opinion and then they refuse to actually parse through why they differ. And so in my ideal world, people are able to say, I think you're wrong, and here's why I think your opinion is so bad. And then they're able to go to that. And my style of communicating is, I don't like the polite, somebody said in the comments, the morning show take of like everybody states their opinion and then you move on. I like the fight. And for me, I want to get into it and be like, you're wrong, and get in your face and tell you all the reasons why I think you're totally wrong about this issue. And then afterward we go, good game. See you next week. You know what I mean? Like I think it's just coming off abrasive, but that's my style. I'm just an abrasive guy.
No, I get it. And I think for me, I love getting into the nuance and the nitty gritty, right? I think that to me is what has the discussion, because I think E's overall point with the way the world is set up right now, whether it be politics, religion, sexuality, whatever, everyone is just going at you, but no one's even willing to listen, right? That's the thing, right? We know people not even willing to have that listen to each other because it's all like fact, like gangs in a way, like everyone just you on the other side kind of thing, right? So I think that having the conversation is important. The only thing, like I said, me personally, I've always prided myself that even if someone I completely disagree with their opinion, I just try my best to be respectful to them so I don't feel like I am personally attacking them. And that's just my style, you know what I'm saying? Because I like to have the discourse. I like to say, all right, you know what? I'm totally on the other side of this, but let me see why he's there, that kind of thing. And I think that's important too. But I'm good. And I still love you.
Of course.
Scarrow with a great episode. He came on.
Yeah, you came on for the therapy session.
What the hell am I doing? What's happening?
Your wife is over there like, how's the podcast? It is a bit of a shit show.
It's a bit of a mess. It's a bit of a mess. We get there. It's all love. It's all love. Shout out to Concept Center.
Concept Center with the channel supporter. Thank you.
Yeah. And for the record, Travis, I definitely know what you mean in terms of people not having the surface level discussions. I don't want that point to be lost. I think we gotta be able to dig deep, and I agree with that part 100%.
Yeah, like for me, it's just like I want people to believe in their opinions so much and be willing to fight for them and like get in each other's face about it, and then and I want that to be socially acceptable. And so I have a real problem when people use hey, it's my opinion, you're not allowed to question it. Like, definitely not. Yeah, it's just your opinion. Like I can tell you your opinion is stupid. Here's why. You know what I mean?
Just
like
a phrasing
that's what I want.
Like, I don't know. Like
I think you're right. I think it is a phrasing thing. I came off like an asshole. Yeah,
we all want the same things. Yeah. We all do. We all want to have the deep, nuanced discussion. We all do.
What I was trying to say when I was muted and I was laughing because I was talking about this in
He's
chat.
like, I had the best point. Damn it, I was muted.
No, it's not it's just an interesting way of looking at this because it's something you would never think about, and I didn't throughout grad school. And I used to have, and I still, my natural reaction is a very Travis like. I'm very passionate about things, and that's how I do it. Over my past year and a half in corporate America, they've been preparing me, or I've been taking classes to go into management and leadership and stuff because that's what people with PhDs do, and it's really boring. But part of this is many classes of having crucial conversations and mastering dialogue and all this bullshit. But there's such a huge psychology that's an unconscious bias that people have just based off of how you phrase things towards them, and that's literally all this was. It's just you can tell people if I debate science all day long, but there's a big difference between me saying, Jonathan, you always support the worst ideas versus Jonathan, maybe that's not the best idea for the company right now. They convey the same message, but that's all it was. So I just think it's really funny because I've been sitting in these classes and being like, "Oh my god, kill me," and now I'm like, "Oh my god, it actually I'm seeing it play out in real time, actually." So
random moment for a second there. Concept Center joining with 20 gifted memberships. Haven't seen you in here before because you're kind of brand new, I think, but. And this is kind of one of those moments where you actually hope it's real, because I know some people have been kind of gifted.
Faking gifting.
I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard of like other people actually having donations and then chargebacks to make it worse for the individual.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, some people donated certain amounts, like on Twitch, like when you could do donations, and then they would do chargebacks, but you get hit for every chargeback, so it's worse than the actual donation. It was like one of those things. I literally saw a tweet about that. But honestly, dark times for a favorite game. But what uplifts me is saying, like your podcast. Thank you guys for entertaining us over the years. Regards from Liechtenstein. Oh, that's kind of awesome.
Okay.
This is always one of those moments when I'm like, seriously, like when I see that generosity, I'm always just kind of like, I don't know what we did to deserve that, but thank you very much for the generosity for the show. It's always appreciated. And yeah, we are, if nothing else, entertaining tonight for you. I'm sure all of you guys that are watching tonight are like, what? This was a Destiny podcast. What are we talking about here? But yeah, this is
passion.
Many subs is cheaper than therapy. Okay.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, that's cheap therapy right there.
And 3 Geeks gave 10 as well.
3 Geeks gave 10. 3 Geeks always coming through. I mean, he was a big donator for a game to give and everything else. 3 Geeks always coming in clutch. This is a sign. More heated discussions means more channel membership gifts.
Not like this, Daddy. Not like this.
Not like this. All I can ever think is somebody says "not like this" is the Matrix. That's the first thing I go to every single time I hear that line.
You guys want to have a real heated discussion?
What are we talking about next?
I think the original 3 Star Wars movies are the worst 3 because they look the worst.
I'm gonna sit here.
Whoa, that is crazy opinion.
That's a very Zoomer opinion, but every
time
I try,
worse than the prequels. The prequels are so bad.
But you said the
the choreography is better in them, so they're more interesting. They catch my Zoomer brain a little better.
Oh my god. Yep. That's unhinged.
I'm sorry, but it's how it goes. Every time see, what's the old guy?
Hey,
Obi-Wan?
Do you
know Obi-Wan, but like the actor, the old Obi-Wan?
Oh, I forgot.
Alec Guinness.
Yeah.
Alec Guinness. Every time I see him do his little spin move with Vader, I cringe. I die.
It is a very wonky scene, but I mean,
yeah.
It really I guess it depends what you put priority on. Hey guys, if you ever wanted more proof that this seasonal content isn't that good, just look at Scaro's opinions of Star Wars. He hates the original trilogy more. So there you go. That's my point. Is bad taste. I'm not saying the new stuff.
I'm not a big Star Wars guy. I don't like a lot of Star Wars. I think Rogue One is really good, and that's pretty much like the only Star Wars content I would go to bat for.
Very good.
All other Star Wars, I watch it to stay familiar with it, but I don't really find the universe that interesting. But the new movies are interesting because the graphics are better. And so, sorry.
As a 58-year-old, I think episode 3 is best. I think episode 3 for me.
Oh my.
That's what
it has the best fight scenes, man.
Episode 3 does. Episode 3's lightsaber battle is the best. Now, granted, I haven't watched Acolyte yet, so I do need to check that one out. I've heard
Y'all
that's
are
extremely
cursed.
good.
Y'all are cursed people.
No, but
I'm
the
sorry.
lightsaber battle in Episode 3 is fantastic in my opinion.
Okay, yeah, it is good. That's a good.
That
fight
was
scene.
like
but the
that
best
is
fight scene in Star Wars is in Rebels. Star Wars Rebels.
Oh, I need to watch that. I've been slowly working through Clone Wars, but I can't keep up with everything, so it's eventual one. I've heard about that one though. That one's pretty good. So the biggest thing is
Andor.
Oh, Andor was damn good. There's gonna be a second season of that, but Andor surprised me a lot. The what is it, Stellan Skarsgård? His monologue, it's like 2 minutes long. It's also a fantastic one too. He has a good moment there. And then I think there's one episode, I want to say it's like 6, something about an escape. And without giving away too much, you would probably know what I mean if you've seen it. That's also a fantastic episode of Andor. But Andor was way better than I expected.
I actually haven't watched that one. I watched the Boba Fett. I was just like, I'm not doing
That
this.
one's real bad.
Book of Boba Fett's
I'm
not great.
doing this anymore. It's a
real
waste
bad.
of my time.
Have you watched Andor?
No, I haven't seen Andor, and I haven't seen Acolyte.
Andor will make you quiver, my boy. Watch that.
Did you watch Mandalorian at all?
Yeah, we've seen all 3 of those seasons. Yeah,
okay,
yeah, and the first one was pretty good.
Yeah, I like the first one, the Mando.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fine. I don't know. But I just wanted to look. If I thought I was going to get you guys some more gifted subs by starting a heated conversation, so that's my go-to.
That seems to be the secret.
Anytime I'm like, this is going too well, I have to break the ice a little bit. That's the opinion I always lead with because
in case of emergency, break glass kind of situation.
Yeah.
Transitioning since we saw so much Star Wars, the thing you've been playing.
Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh yeah,
we forgot about
dude. What a great transition!
That is a great segue right there. That's way better than anything Linus has done in a while. So, so I got to play Star Wars Outlaws for 4 hours actually, which is. Honestly, I gotta say, a really great way to do a preview. Here's 3 hours on this chunk. Here's an hour on this chunk. We'd like you to see these 2 quests, but kind of just go. That was really nice to have that freedom. Also, there's a decent amount of faith in the fact that not a lot of things are just gonna bust. Here's just a planet that kind of works.
Sorry, can you set the stage for what type of game this is, please?
So, Star Wars Outlaws is
made by Ubisoft. What do you think?
Ooh.
Star Wars Outlaws, kind of. So you're gonna have you're gonna have kind of an open zone. But the zones would be like planets. So instead of full open world, it's going to be planets that you'll be able to go to. Open world, hub worlds, if you want to call them that, with major cities. But I mean, the open world, you get on a speeder. Speeder feels kind of janky, but it's just like a speeder that came out of a ship. And when I start the game, it is an open world, Star Wars game, open hub, whatever you want to call them, hub world. But you're from the perspective of a smuggler, kind of. Cave S, and then she's got her little raccoon fox ferret thing called Nyx, who's adorable. And she seems a little green in the smuggler world, done some stuff, but not grizzled Han Solo. She's a little green, but she's done some things. She lands on a planet. She is over her head when she walks into the main city and says, hey, I kind of need to do this. And then talks to kind of one of the main crime bosses, mentions the wrong name, gets thrown out on her butt, then kind of meets the person who handles the everybody kind of situation. And as soon as you start walking around the city, it feels like you're in a Star Wars city. 100%. I think they nailed the vibe. I walked around and one guy's like, hey, I just need a few more credits to get back in the gambling thing. And then you find the gambling table on the inside. And then the different factions or syndicates is what they call them.
I'm about to ask you. Maddie was talking about that.
Yeah, so the different syndicates, I think, are where the game's really going to shine. Because your ability to go and do a mission, you're like, hey, I need you to go get this thing. Okay, well, I go get that thing. Well, while I'm in there, I get a little more information. When you get back, you are meeting the person you're going to give thing to, but then you get the decision, extra information that you got. Do you tell this person about it, or do you hold it and give it to somebody else? Well, if you give it to this person, you're going to improve your rating with this syndicate or favorability. If you hold on to it, this person probably really wants this information. You could probably get yourself in with that faction too. So it's your decision of how to play the factions against each other is going to be, I think, one of the big ones. Go ahead. You were going
to if I didn't know this was Star Wars, this sounds a lot like Starfield based off of your description.
No.
Well, no, because
Starfield is a Bethesda-made RPG. You kind of know what you're getting with that. This is a
Mm-hmm.
Ubisoft-made open world game, and you kind of know what you're getting with that. And those are
Okay,
very
okay.
different games. So
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
way more. It's made by Massive, who made like Mad Max and
The
some of those
Vision.
games. Which
They made the Vision
I don't.
too.
I don't really know that they're the right team to make this game. I'm kind of nervous about it, but it is. It's very different. It is way more close to like an Assassin's Creed game than a
Okay.
Starfield.
Are the
Yeah.
worlds pretty big, or are they kind of?
So the
I mean-
3 hours that I got to spend,
Ubisoft will tell you they're the biggest ever or whatever.
Yeah. See that mountain?
so like the 3 hours I got to spend is like, hey, you get on your Sparrow, you need to go to the main town. Well, on your your speeder, like you take the speeder, you got a couple people that like try and chase you, and some people are not happy with you being out there. You finally get into the city. It's kind of like a neutral-ish territory. So then you get into there. But I was lost in the city for most of my time. Then it's like I went back to my ship. I went into space. Unlike Starfield, you can actually fly directly to space.
See,
Oh, cool. Okay.
I did hear about that. Maddie said there's a little cloud transition.
Yeah,
there. I guess
it's
there's a
like it is
loading.
a legit animation to be like, I'm going
Mhm.
from the planet to the
Mhm.
space, and then
I
you're
see-
like, and then
I
you
see what
fly in
you're doing there.
space.
We'll
Yeah.
let you go ahead.
I put 100 and some odd hours into Starfield. I'm allowed to have that
Oh,
up and down
of
roller
course,
coaster.
of course. Yeah, for your
Um,
opinion.
But yeah, and then in space, you got a little flying around. It was like kind of picking up some materials, a little bit of space dogfighting, but I got like first 3 hours felt very early. Like you did something, you crash landed here, and you got to fix your ship. This is why you're doing the missions in the city. Then like later on, it jumped ahead. You get to see a story cinematic, and you don't really know the beat of that story cinematic. That's the only thing nobody can talk about right now who played it. They're like, don't show this cinematic. We're going to show it to you, but nobody can see it. So you get to see that. And then the later section you get to, my ship is upgraded. So I'm like way faster at firing and have missiles and stuff. When I get in to the later mission, my blaster's upgraded and stuff. The thing to know about this game is there will be stealth, 100%. Because you are going to be trying to get places as a smuggler. You're going to be trying to do things that people don't want you to do. Are you good with this faction? Well, you can walk all the way, like halfway into their base. And then if you're trying to go into the restricted zone, we don't like you that much. Then you got to sneak in. Well, if you want to go sneak into this person, you got to sneak the whole way. Then there may be certain times where you can kind of go loud, light people up, shoot people, mark people with binoculars. And some people have said it has some old school gameplay mechanics where you're like marking people with binoculars to track them around like a combat area. The little mini games aren't too shabby. The little lock picking thing is kind of rhythm based, and then there's a kind of Sudoku or Wordle almost thing. I think somebody called it. So it's like a weird mix of those two, kind of picking symbols out of a mix to get those going. I think it has potential. Do I think it's going to be where everybody's like, oh, this game's going to be horrible? No, I think it's going to be a pretty good time. I think where people are going to probably have the most fun, in my opinion. For one, if you like Star Wars universe, this is obviously going to do some benefits. But if you want to get into the syndicate character interactions, I think those moments, voice acting, extremely well done. I think the voices are very fitting for all the characters I'm seeing. The cinematic cutscenes so far are like pretty well animated. The like walking around stuff is, take it or leave it as it is. But if you want to walk around as a smuggler in a Star Wars world, maybe find some materials to upgrade your blaster, maybe pit this faction against this faction because you found some information and you just want to go all this one faction and screw everybody else over, you're probably going to be able to, which means I feel like I don't know how the overarching story is going to have like different endings. I don't know about that, but I feel like your faction interaction is going to be where some people have a good amount of fun. I had a good time and I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if this is going to be like a 9 out of 10 amazing game. I think it's going to be an easy 7 out of 10 for me, just like a good time in a Star Wars game. And it's a story game. If you want to play it now, if you want to wait till it's on sale, you're still probably going to have that experience. So that's kind of like my general thoughts on the 4 hours. I didn't get like a tease of the overarching story. I know why your ship is special, but I can't really say it. But outside
you're
of
Starborn.
yeah, no.
That was it.
That was
All
it.
along.
Yeah.
Yes. This
Guess
is
we know what
actually
New Game Plus is like.
This is Starfield DLC too. Can you chop people up with a lightsaber?
You are not a Jedi. That's also the other thing.
You're a
That is
scoundrel.
you
So
are a
like normal
scoundrel.
people can surely pick up lightsabers if they steal them or find them.
There's
If
probably
somebody-
not going to be any lightsabers in the game
Yeah,
because
it's like,
it takes
I
place
don't
during the period of
imagine-
time where Jedi are genocided.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you play a Han Solo-like character, which is very different than anything they've done in a game before, but I think it could be awesome.
Okay.
So I think it's the point of it'll be a different Star Wars experience because believe me, I loved like Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor. Both of those are fantastic. What?
Hold on. I don't know if this is breaking, but Bungie layoffs include Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy. I
Where
just
did
got
you
this from
read it?
GameStop. I'll put the link right now. Wow.
Whoa.
Oh,
Wow.
it is
That's a
via
pretty big
Grub.
deal.
It's but it's via Grub. Okay, so then we gotta wait. No disrespect to the Grubster, but you know what I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, we'll wait.
That's,
We'll wait. But
Let's wait
that's
on
what
that
it
because
came across.
that is also the same guy who said somebody at Sony was in charge, which is not true. So
Got you. Fair enough. We'll wait. I'll just show y'all the link. I'll put it in our chat. But
Yeah, Grubb says, quote, Beyond was payback, but he'll talk more about what he knows actually right now. So, that's probably where this information came
That's
from.
probably That's
I wouldn't trust that just yet.
Yeah.
Okay. We will wait.
Let's see what Luke Smith's LinkedIn looks like.
Looks like, yeah.
Well, this is
He's
going to be one of our
Still, he's
longest.
still at Bungie.
This is going to be one of our
He's still at
longest
Bungie.
episodes in a long time, and about 45 minutes of it was an argument, but that's fine.
Was it really that long? Blew by.
I mean, it's 2 hours, and I looked down. It's 8:42, and I was like, it's 2 hours and 40-minute episode. So we've been here for a hot minute.
No, I mean the debate. Was the debate actually?
I don't know.
45
I'm
minutes?
guessing, but we were hashing some stuff out for a little while there.
Still, well, I mean, this raises an interesting question. All the grains of salt, but if this is true, Bungie laying off the 2 VPs of Destiny, that has unbelievably big implications for the franchise as a whole. That's crazy. If true.
If true. Yeah, LinkedIn seems...
Take it with a huge grain of salt. Grubb is a love the guy, but he just talks. I don't know.
LinkedIn as of now still has Mark Noseworthy as vice president and still has Luke Smith, I guess, in Israel. So I haven't seen any.
People don't always update their LinkedIn right away, but yeah, it is kind of
we will see. I know we got the Schreier report tomorrow.
Yeah, Schreier will be interesting to hear from him if he's got sources.
Yeah, tomorrow. So we'll wait one more and we'll see what's going on. But
I feel like that would have come out, but also maybe that's the right thing to happen. I mean, we're talking about leadership making bad decisions. I'm sure that those are involved in it, and also maybe they could. Start
They did mention in the article specifically that leadership was impacted as well, and they didn't expand on that, but they made a point to say that in P. Parsons' article. So it doesn't really. Short of the executive team, which I mean, they're probably part of the executive team. They're vice presidents, or at least Mark Noseworthy was considered a vice president.
Yeah, they're up there. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's huge. If true. So
yeah,
that would be the end of an era.
Wow, that would be if it is true. Jesus. I mean, I think you get what you want. Then at that Trav, right at that point, you would have to.
I know.
I was like, I think Travis would.
Now we got a chance.
I was like, I think Travis would be closer than we ever thought he would be at that point.
Wow. Here's the thing, though. If it is true, like Luke was there putting this thing with string and duct tape from the beginning. He was part of the original, and those guys got cold, right?
Stuff, yep.
Wow,
it is kind of weird to think about, like how, you never see people go back. You know, it's like when you get to a leadership like this, it's a point of no return. It's either it works or you're gone.
Yeah,
they can't. I've never seen
steps
someone
down
like,
to go be a developer again.
Yeah, like or a game director. Like they're not. It is kind of weird to think about. Like I don't know if I was in that position, it's like I know I fucked up. Just let me go back to what I was good at. You know what I mean, or whatever.
Well,
but you can't do that.
That's the risk in getting promoted. Like I don't know if you guys have ever been offered a job title that was like beyond where you were ready in your career, but I've seen a lot of people make that mistake where they take it and then any step back is seen as them showing that they can't handle the task. And so you kind of have to be strategic about the job titles you take and not take one until you're ready because there's no going back, and it looks really bad on a resume if you go up and then down. It's just not. It's not good.
Reaching, Trav.
Yeah.
Literally experiencing this. Right
yeah.
Title.
That's a real problem.
That is
a real
accurate
problem.
as hell. Absolutely. Yep,
well, I mean,
you can't be perceived to be going backwards.
Yeah. Well, I mean, G-Man said like we saw Joe leave. Katarina was a surprising one after Final Shape.
Yeah, Final
Chef
Shape.
Andy. There was a whole lot of reading between the lines when he left. There was a lot more that was going on there. And then, you saw Michael Salvatore and Sky. I mean, they were, I think, part of either layoffs or they went. But it's the writing was on the wall for some of the like higher ups. They were seeing things, they were getting to different places, they were taking a break, whatever they were doing. They were privy to some information. And unfortunately, those people in those positions typically are also getting good enough salary. They can probably take a break and handle it. So it's a lot of the people who are in the day-to-day, the grind, the animators, the editors, all of the developer level are the ones that get hit the hardest. Because those are the ones that usually need the job the most, don't have as much of a nest egg or anything else, and also the ones that don't just instantly, like, it's harder to jump to that role again. So, yeah, somebody like, I mean, yeah, Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy being where they were for a while, financially, they're fine for a good bit. They're not hurting. And I'm sure they had a payout in equity and everything else. So that's why, yeah, they may not be there, and the future of Destiny is going to be a interesting one with those two not there. But also is like, it's a question of like, what have they been doing? Because you had Joe come in as game director. It's like, so we don't have any other like Destiny stuff. We don't know what they were doing. If Mark Nosey was on the financial side.
I think probably with these layoffs, it was probably practical, right? Like, hey, we're cutting the team in half, so all of that extra Destiny universe stuff that we were planning on is probably not going to happen anymore, and that means we don't need a franchise director.
Yeah, if that's the case, yeah. Whew, what man? That's wow.
I could see that being true, honestly. Why do you need a franchise director for a team that's only 800 people?
Yeah.
If you're not doing TV shows and stuff.
If you're not doing that, because they had grand, and Pete Parsons' comments did allude to, a lot of those grand plans, being spread out too thin and got overly ambitious, and they were literally the spearheads, those two, of that whole, grand plan for Destiny as a future. Remember, Destiny wasn't going anywhere. We've got big plans. Woo. And then that would kind of allude, again, we're speculating as to why Frontiers, we basically know nothing. We know nothing of Frontiers.
Now we know less than
well,
next to that.
Yeah. I think whatever we thought we knew about Frontiers has now been thrown up into the air. Like, who even knows if whatever they were planning is even a possibility?
Like the leak could be less than accurate.
So, I mean, that brings up another question. The Destiny 2 team account yesterday said that none of the short or long-term plans of Destiny have been affected by this. Do we just not believe that? Or...
How
that's
could it not
official
be?
Bungie communication? But
I know, but how could you lose? Even if you think
I agree.
That's true. How could you not be impacted by losing 350 people from your team? Like, how could that not affect your?
I mean, it's like they may kind of have the pipeline from the episodic teams kind of stationed already. The only other thing is Frontiers. We don't have it. We know nothing about that. So the fact that they can say the future plans aren't changed. That can just be it's a code name. They literally told us nothing. So of course they can say like the long-term plans haven't changed because the short and long term are the 2 episodes. Anything outside of that is, I think Travis said, is fair game to be whatever they want it to be right now. And that could be Sony picking what it wants to be at this point. And
do we know how their seasonal teams were affected? Like how much smaller are Alpha and Omega?
We don't. I don't honestly know anything that I don't know that much of the minutiae.
I saw very few like game play designer type roles.
Yeah, it feels like they would be making like activities.
Yeah.
But you would lose like skyboxes, you would lose music designers, you would lose player support team. If you can shoot a gun in an activity in the close world, you're probably okay. But anything outside of that specific, seemed like it was.
I didn't see. As far as there's lists on Reddit, so we can go look this up. I didn't see anyone on the Rad team. I didn't see any activity designers. I didn't see anyone on the like sandbox or balancing teams that I'm aware of.
So it could just be that they're getting rid of the teams that work on like new expansions, right? Like usually back in the day before studios were making multiple games one at a time, they would always fire the writers first because you write the story and then you don't need them, right? And then they would fire the artists because once the artists are done, then you're just working on gameplay. And then the gameplay people stayed until the end of the project. And then now they try to keep people on full time for consistency's sake and stuff because games get updated in real time. But it could just be like, hey, you've already done your job for the next 2 DLCs and we're not planning on making more after that. So we kind of don't need you at the company anymore.
Yeah. Well, a buddy of mine just updated me because I told you guys earlier that Intel laid off 15,000 people. Apparently now it's up to 20,000 people. I don't know how big that one's going. Somebody's like, how do you even have 20,000 people to lay off? Well, apparently we saw there were 125,000
Intel's
employees.
got 100.
Yeah, I was like, we saw that earlier. But either way, it's like, Yeah, big and small scale, but no,
When that's like think about that, right? Like if you were in a position where you had to like even lay off 500 or whatever, 220, but you know the numbers. You have to go through and identify those people, or someone has to at some point. 20,000 people, like you're just cutting you. There's no way each of those people were individually. You know what I mean? Like they're just cutting teams. They're just like
Do
this.
you, do
This
you, do you want to know how many employees Microsoft has?
yeah.
220,000.
Yeah, so like
they're
this is
twice
just
the size of Intel. Like
that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
but I mean they have offices there's literally one, like I'll go to the grocery store and if I go down the street there's a Microsoft building. Like they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely everywhere. I mean, so much stuff that they do we don't even think about because you just take it for granted between Windows and Office and Copilot and Edge and AI. There's so much stuff that they do.
I have a friend who works for Xbox, and he's like his entire career has been under the Microsoft umbrella, and he says that sometimes like it's its own ecosystem. Like, oh, I'm quitting Xbox to go work for GitHub, you know what I mean? And those are all under Microsoft, and so it's like you're in your own like corporate world of you can have an entire life in a different branch of the company and never talk to anybody you worked with in the previous branch.
Yeah.
And that's insane. That's like it's like a country, basically. It's like moving to a different city. Crazy.
Outstanding. It was like they used the duck duck goose method. Well, I think it's like duck duck goose. You're about 1 out of 5 is going out the door at this point, but yeah, that's scary. No, I mean I think the best thing I can say is if you're enjoying Destiny right now, have fun with it. If you're feeling like the episodic model is a struggle, please go check out other games. And again, the thing is, there's so many of them out there. Try the big ones, try the small ones, because some people are like, oh, you should go play First Descendant or Once Human. They're like, not really my jam, but there's a lot more out there. So if Destiny's not doing it for you, don't hold your breath that it's holding on, because right now seems a little sketchy, to say the absolute least. Scarrow's over there like, I gotta play other things? No.
Last question. Yeah, last question for you guys. Let's be honest. The elephant in the room is the content creator scene, right? One thing about Destiny that we have to admit, it's a game that doesn't onboard well, but to the benefit of its creators, right? And now that we see this thing, is this the time now you see a lot of streamers talking about variety content, going to different games? Like, how does this affect you two personally? You know what I'm saying? Who are known.
I mean, he's a chemist full time. He does this for fun.
Yeah, this doesn't. It's,
well, yeah, you eat them. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, other people who are don't have that luxury.
I mean,
what do you hear in Scarrow also too? I'm sorry.
Like Fallout put out a video. He just did kind of a chat on his stream today, and he basically turned it into a video, and I caught part of it. And he was just saying, "Is like, yeah, we'll be checking it." He's like, "We'll still be covering Destiny here and there." I mean, he's oddly creative enough to come up with some interesting content, but you just see a lot of people right now. Here's a build that kind of works. Here's maybe a Xur video. Even some of the creators that I've seen, they're pretty thin. Astacross can just vomit anything and he gets views just because everybody sees an Astacross video and clicks on it. So he's just living the high life at this point. But no, I mean, even like Fallout was just like, I'm looking forward to Monster Hunter Wilds next year, and I am 100% going to go hardcore in that because I've been waiting for like the next Monster Hunter world, and that's what Wilds is going to be. But that's also why for me, I've been doing what I've been doing, trying to cover as much as possible, whether it's day of. And that's the other thing too, is when you're trying to cover other games, whatever your style is. I mean, if you are somebody who has a Let's Play channel that's successful, more power to you, but those are really, really damn near impossible to get off the ground because everybody can just play or watch. But then it's like, what is your niche? Mine tends to be guides. Means I've got to go wrap my head around an entire game before I play a video or go put out a video. So then I have to go no life something. So it's a different style. But I will also say is like, I tend to enjoy playing a lot of different things. So it's actually working pretty well for me. Just because it gives me a chance to play some variety, but it is a different animal because, I mean, Scarrow's got all the triumph score, and we've all played this game so much. When something new comes out, you're going to make a piece of content. You're covering one little thing, takes you like part of it, a few hours to digest it, make a video, you're done, because that is the only new thing. It's not like you're trying to digest a brand new experience. And a lot of us, if you want to talk about something, you don't want to talk out of your ass, because if you do on the internet, people are going to call you out. So you kind of feel like you want to know what you're talking about. For me, at least I do. for some of the content that I make. So if I'm going to try and make something of that style, it's going to be a little harder to make, but it also gets me to play other things. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I got to dive deeper into new things, but also gets me a lot more new experiences, which has been, you know, up and down, whole lot of hours, little breaks here and there, stuff like that. And not everything hits. That's the other thing. You never quite know what's going to hit.
Yeah.
For me, I'm super fortunate to be in a position where it's just like if nothing's catching my attention, I've been trying. Like I tried Once Human, it was fine, didn't really get me. First Ascendant didn't really get me. I'm really looking forward to Marathon because I'm in my puzzle era right now, and that's my thing. And Marathon was originally before Chris Barrett got shipped off to Mars or whatever. That was like the original vision for Marathon, as I understand it. So. To have lots of puzzles and secrets and stuff. But for me, like the thing that I'm more look, I hit 100,000 subs. I did what I wanted to do. I don't want this to end. I love content creation. I'm not going to force myself. I'm in no obligation to do this. I will do if I need to take a break until something catches my attention. I will. What makes me the most sad is I love the Destiny community, and we've made friends we'll be friends forever. But the reality is when people go off and they start playing different games, they join other communities, we're going to drift apart. And it's, we'll always have those connections, but it's, it's just never the same. So that's a lot of the reason. I obviously love Destiny. I love what I do, but a lot of it, the reason I want Destiny to keep going is, all those connections. I mean, Destiny's literally changed my life. As weird, corny or dumb or whatever you want to say. Like
preach.
Yeah. I mean, it's just it is the reason. It is so like I just don't know, man. So I'm just gonna ride the wave. I'm gonna see what happens. I am excited for Marathon. I hope it's good. I have a lot of friends working on it, and
some people that I seen some friends coming back that they came from Bungie that they played it or whatever.
I've had friends that have played it. Can't talk to them because they're under strict NDA. But I'm gonna get CB so drunk at GCX and he's gonna spill all the beans. Tell me about it.
You want to know one sad thing about this is too, like depending on the way things go, is like I wonder how many. I know GCX is bigger than the Destiny community, but Destiny is a big piece of that community.
It is definitely most of GCX.
I was like, so if that falls apart, that's gonna be kind of rough on that event, because I think that's one of the cornerstones of the creators that people go for. Typically, a lot of those and stuff like that. So it's kind of one of those where we haven't had CB on it forever either.
Yeah, shout out to CB.
Yeah,
CBD gummies.
CB, no D.
Oh,
no D for you.
But I don't know. I hope
that wasn't his first time saying that.
All right,
he was practiced at that one.
Quick one out.
Yeah,
but we'll see. I'm interested. I really hope. I have a lot of friends that have gone full-time content creation, and I hope they're all able to make the transition very well. So we'll see. But
do you guys feel like if Destiny fails as a game, it'll be kind of like a layoff for you?
I do not know. It'll honestly, it'll be like the universe telling me that
he's free.
I can pursue other things in my life.
I think Teddy will finally breathe when Destiny 2 is done.
He gets his watch has ended.
His watch, his watch on the wall will finally be done.
The wall, good old Teddy.
He comes back, right? He doesn't get to escape. He gets revived.
Yeah. I mean, like it's. I don't know. I only do all of this because I love it. At no point in my life have I done something that I don't want to do, short of getting a paycheck. But that's not this. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, I don't know what the future looks like, but whatever.
Is that scary? Are you scared?
Not really. I came to terms with my mortality a long time ago.
Why are you called Scaro? Shouldn't it be called Brave?
So that's actually an interesting question. When I was a kid, I was like 9 or 10. I needed a username for RuneScape, And
You and
my favorite
Astro should
TV
talk.
my favorite TV show at the time was Doctor Who, and the main bad guys, the Daleks, are from Skaro, but I was a little kid, so I spelled it wrong. So my original username was Scaro97, but then I lost the password to that RuneScape account, so I made Scaro9.
Oh, the history.
Great.
It's
Yeah,
actually
I
it's
like
actually
that.
probably better that it's not 97 because that way it
Yeah.
doesn't just date you. So
Yeah.
like all the
Yes,
years.
you know.
Yes.
No, I mean I would
That's the
honestly say
lore.
is like if Destiny goes away, I think it's healthy. I mean, it will be difficult for some that truly are like, I do PvP Destiny content. That's rough to go find. Now, can you go have success in other places and try other things? That's one. I think Scaro said it right though. And I'm lucky enough that I've been fortunate enough to be in the situation and all of the surrounding circumstances to me doing what I do. But I'm also to the point where it's like when I go through and play a game like Lies of P and I make a guide over it, I'm going through as I've played through that game and to say, my experience was a little bumpy in all of these places. How can I make somebody have a smooth experience? That's one of those things I've found my little niche for, and I still enjoy that too. And I think that's one of those things. If you still enjoy what you do, and if you can hopefully find that outside of Destiny, but I think some people will struggle because Destiny is such their home, and I don't know if people. I think people right now need to start realizing this may not be your home, and you need to go see what it's like to see what other homes feel like because it's not going to be forever. And if this isn't the writing on the wall for you, then I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stop watching Godfather.
Godfather mains.
Nice full
Look,
circle on the
man,
Godfather
Full
main. Good
circle.
stuff.
Full circle. Look, great run. Regardless to what, and thank you. If it is the end, thank you for all the great moments that this game has provided us. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
just been
Is this
tremendous.
actually going to be our last episode? It's starting to sound like it.
We don't
We
have to do an obituary this episode, guys. We're not
saying,
quite
yeah.
if
there.
it is. If
I'm
it
just saying,
is.
I mean,
you
we're-
guys just shouted me off the show. Now we're all saying our goodbyes. Like, what is this
Hey,
the end?
Travis,
Like,
I
what's
feel
going
like we
on?
bonded there, Travis. I feel like we bonded
Yeah,
even
we
more.
can't-
No, I
Close like a
agree.
family.
It was a joke. It was a
I
joke.
know.
No, it was good.
Lame
fun.
movie, Travis. You're wrong. I mean, look, if you want to say Godfather's bad, I will happily debate you on that one because, dude, you're gonna get spanked. I want to see your argument for
So
Godfather
here's a
being
question
bad.
for you. Here's a question for you. This is a
Yeah.
giant gaping hole for me for movies. I have not seen
nice.
any of them.
What do you mean?
I've not seen
Don't worry.
giant
don't worry
gaping
about
hole of my movie knowledge because
it. Yeah, say it again, Lo.
No D for you.
Yeah, exactly. There
Yeah.
that is. Anyway, I have not seen any of the Godfathers. You can call me like that's a horrible thing. What is the best should I like somebody was like Godfather
Just
3
one.
was never made. Like
No,
1
no,
and
one.
2?
So here's the thing: they do get progressively worse, but Godfather 1 is the best movie. You should just watch that. Like, if you watch that movie and that's the only one you see, you'll be like, "Damn, that was good." If you watch the second one, you'll be like, "Damn, that's also good." And the third one, you'll be like, probably.
Yeah.
I don't
One
know.
is the goat to
So
me.
D also watched them recently because she has never seen like any movies. So I've just been introducing her to like all the classics, and she liked all three of them. So
Oh, nice.
you know,
Nice.
Godfather 1's the only one you need. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the goat.
yeah, I would say Godfather 1 is essential.
Yeah,
Pretty
I
essential.
bought
You
them
gotta
all,
watch
so I
them.
did support the title, but I have not watched them.
Nice.
So I've got
Gotta
all
watch 'em.
3. Yeah, I need to watch that one at some point. It's like 3 hours though, so it's not like, hey, let me go watch a movie real
Oh,
quick.
no,
It's gonna be a commitment that
Okay.
night.
What if you watched it and you liked it so much you actually did become a Godfather man and you just started streaming that every day?
There you go. Ebontis the
I-
Godfather channel.
Yeah.
But you can't show
say
the
that,
movie
Travis.
because of copyright infringement, so you just have to like be on camera without it showing.
I just do a daily podcast about it now.
The
Yeah.
main thing, I don't know why I didn't think about this earlier. There are legitimately people that will like always just have like The Office on repeat constantly.
That
Like,
is
those-
true. Okay, so there are show mains. I know
Yeah.
somebody who just watches the Office, and as soon as they finish the last season,
Yeah.
they go back and they watch the pilot, and I'm like, what is wrong with you?
So we
But I
watch-
think
like-
both of those are weird.
So we watch
I think both
certain
of them.
shows to like go to sleep, like stuff that you've seen that you can literally listen to and like kind of play in your head to like clear your head and go to sleep. We have like 3 different shows that we rotate between, and I've seen them countless times.
And
But-
I'm a music man. I listen to exclusively metal.
Yeah. So it's like that's kind of the thing is like if you want something on as kind of a distraction to like go to sleep and then like fall asleep, there are certain shows that we've seen multiple times. It's not like The problem, like what I know this is probably not the best example because you can give me crap for liking it, but like Smallville, when I was in college,
God.
Wow.
no, it's just like it was one of those that in college, and I was like, I just kind of wanted to watch all the way through Smallville because I kind of enjoyed the character, like what was going on. But it was if I would watch anything that's new, I won't go to sleep. I would watch like a full disc of a season, go to the next disc, and it was like 3, 4 in the morning. I'm like, I just have to turn it off because I can't go to bed. So like I have to watch, like if we're gonna watch something, like my wife and I want just watch something, it's How I Met Your Mother, Friends, and Big Bang Theory are the 3 that will rotate between. And it's just kind of between those 3. If one of those is on, then I've seen them enough. I don't need to like pay attention.
Sorry, not to derail, but I just put a tweet in our little chat.
It looks like it's been confirmed.
That is a current Bungie employee commenting on Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy being gone.
Yeah. Looks like it is confirmed.
Oh, so
They're gone.
Yeah, so they're gone.
All right,
They're gone.
So wait, who's this guy? Who's this guy? This is
Ocon?
Yeah, he's
He's
an
the
OG.
PvP main. He's like the
Yeah,
PvP main.
he's a PvP guy.
He used to be on.
Did
You
he
would have
let
seen
go,
him
or
on
is he
stream.
still there?
It sounds like
he's on Marathon.
He's on Marathon. Yeah.
I bet it was a bunch of employees who were told not to comment on who was let go, and then once the news breaks, the embargo breaks, right? And so now you're going to hear a bunch of employees talking about people.
You might know him as Kevin Yanes.
Yeah, Kevin Giannis.
Giannis.
Yep.
Yeah, that's Stocom.
Oh, got it. Yep. I remember.
He was the one who got like called out on Twitter and just said bye on Twitter.
Yeah.
He deleted
Yes.
everything, and
Deleted
that's why his
everything.
icon on Twitter's black. He just was like, peace.
Got it. Man, end of
So,
another
yeah,
guy.
because he took so much flack for some PvP stuff or something, and finally he's just like, I'm tired of this BS. I'm out of here. Yeah, no, he's been there for
it's
a long time.
Yeah, I mean he's an OG for sure. So
I'm
at
gonna
least
go
in the
cry in
Destiny
I'm gonna go cry in the car.
universe.
It's over, guys.
Dude, it's
That's
starting to
crazy.
look real bleak. This might actually be our last episode. It was a good show. I think we did a really good job. And
Jesus.
I mean, I told
Take
you
that,
guys at
Teddy.
round 300.
Come
Yeah.
take my record now. I ended the show.
Dude, he was on the finale. Dude,
Yes.
crazy.
We're gonna go
Oh.
out to Travis's wedding. We're gonna have our cheers. Now Teddy will be
We're
there
gonna
for
pour
that,
one
so
out.
he's got one
We
for
gotta
you
pour
there.
one out. We gotta pour one out.
Destin will be there too. You guys will get to hear what he thinks about all this.
Oh, this ought to be great. He's gonna be at
Yeah.
our table. That'll be fun.
He will be at your table. Yeah.
Yep.
He'll be like, before they show off the game, they should make everything accessible from collections. Every role you've ever
Reb
done.
was supposed to be at your table too, but she had to back out unfortunately.
would?
So, yeah.
Oh
yeah.
man, I actually really want to
Reb-
meet her because I swear I could.
Reb,
pick her brain.
Reb and her husband were gonna come to my wedding, but they had stuff come up, so they're moving. They're moving to a different state. So, yeah.
Damn.
Oh god, damn. How do you like smooth? Wow. That's from the very beginning.
Is there going to be a fire team chat? No.
No, it's over. It's over.
Destin definitely doesn't want to follow up the last episode wherein we interviewed a Bungie dev about some really cool stuff, and it was a super positive episode with an episode where we're all crying about how this game's basically dead.
Yeah. But the nice thing is, we still all play video games, so we'll still have stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Just depends on if I can wrangle in Travis on a frequent basis or not. Because you still talk about video games on Sunday too, so then I feel like you're just like saying the same thing twice.
Yeah.
But what we need to
That's
do is
basically how I feel.
combine forces and make one big show.
We did just have an opening because Dan's off the show.
I'll join you. I'll come hang out with
Do
you
it.
guys.
You should offer. Yeah, he well, I'll tell you, it's private,
okay.
but
Yeah.
Private. Okay, gotcha. I don't know.
Well, Scarrow may want to go say hi to his wife.
Yes.
He's actually asleep. So
there you go. Some people may need bathroom breaks. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm actually good right now, surprisingly. 3 hours later,
we can call it.
Yeah,
I've been
like
making myself for the last 48
Yeah.
hours, buddy. Like we're.
Yeah, I was like, I'm kind of numb to everything, but yeah, the Luke and Mark stuff is surprising too.
Yeah, I'm numb.
Weird. Yeah, that hits.
I was hoping. I'll try to hope. But yeah, it's over. It's over.
We'll see.
Chat, you guys have been here for an epic episode. I'll tell you that.
We'll see. Who knows? You know, maybe stuff and things.
I love how little buy-in there was.
sorry,
but
what?
we were all just like not buying it. You're like, no.
Arrow, are you
it's
saying words
My
still or
favorite-
just noises now?
You know what my
Maybe-
favorite moment? Okay, my favorite guy.
No, I'm still doing the thing. You're good.
No, okay, no. My favorite moment Luke Smith is after the Activision, and they had said that Destiny underperformed on every metric. It was a disappointment, and this is right after Forsaken, and then he put out the tweet, and he was just like, "Guardians, was it?" First of all, he said we wasn't a disappointment to him, and then I remember when they broke free, and he was like, "Guardians decide their own fate." From the what you call it, right? That's my favorite Luke Smith moment. Oh man,
I can't remember what
then
outlet
they
did
sold.
it. I can't remember what outlet did it, but Luke Smith got
Right to the
interviewed.
bag, baby.
Yeah, Luke Smith got interviewed, and it was like 100 questions, but it was like really fast, snippy
Yes, the
answers.
fast Twitch one. Yes,
Yeah, I
saw that
forget
one.
who did
Yes,
that.
Game Informer.
Game Informer did it,
They do it. They used to do it for their cover story every month.
They used to have the
and
exclusive.
I'm savagely jealous of that because I've always wanted to do one of those rapid fire 100 questions in 5 minutes. I think it's
Yes,
called.
and they're
I've
just like,
always
bam,
wanted
bam,
to do
bam,
one of
bam,
those.
yeah.
I would be so good at that interview because I'm great at asking loaded questions. Oh, it'd be so good.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
No. All right. Well, 3+ hours. Haven't done this since like Bife
Oh,
was
I
on
should
the show.
say. Oh, sorry. I should say, Luke. He and I are buddies. We used to hang out when we'd go to studio events and drink together, and I miss those days. And I know that he's going to do great things in the games industry, and this might be a blessing in disguise. Hopefully, he and some of the other people let go at Bungie can take all their talent and go start something new. I think that would be sick.
Luke
they
has
got it.
always struck me as an excellent hugger.
Yes. Got
That
good
is an
energy.
Is
I've
that, is
hugged
that
him, man.
true?
I've
That is an
never met the
odd
man.
comment, but I can see it.
I've hugged him.
Yeah.
I've hugged him. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
I feel like
He
he's
always
just a
he just
genuine.
he has a very warm presence, you know? Like that guy gives phenomenal hugs. I know it.
I feel like when you say you've had
Yeah.
drinks with him, I feel like if you have a beer, you're just gonna have like a fun night with him. It feels like it's just gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
He's
for
he's
sure.
he's very sociable. He's a very kind dude.
Mhm. Always loved his energy.
Well, this
Shout out
isn't
to
the
him.
last episode, but we are off next week.
Yes.
But for now, we probably should wrap this thing up because I think
Yeah,
we're
so
breaking our
famous last
record.
words.
I think we're breaking our record for length. No, it's not the last
Mhm.
episode.
Take that, Teddy.
But
Take that, Teddy.
so we gotta have one more episode to bring Teddy on. That's what we got.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you guys want to say? And then we can wrap it up. We're still shorter than everything that comes out of Last Stand
Iron
Media and
Yes.
Iron Lords podcast. This is still shorter than all of those.
I thought that
Yes,
was
it
about
is.
to be a Rick Hackis joke, and I was so here for it. But
This is
Still
this is
shorter than
this
the
is still-
intro.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
still shorter than the Cactus intro, so that's fine.
man.
No, I mean GCX stream. I don't know. Like I'm not probably even going because I don't think I can do that back-to-back travel. So that's your cousin. Be nice. We've had Cactus on the show. We're good.
I love Cactus.
Cactus is a fun dude.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Sucks.
I don't know if he ever turns it off either. If he's like that all the time, but anytime I've ever talked to him, he's on.
I have played many hours with Rick, and what I can say is, in real life, he is 100 times angrier than he is in videos.
I believe that. I believe that because
Yeah.
I went through Pantheon with him. And I got my title. I got
He's a
Godslayer
very
with him.
intense person.
Yep. He was really
But
not
it's awesome.
thrilled.
I love him.
Yeah, no, he was good. Yeah.
My family's been threatened a couple of times though.
It gets serious with this games. Been awesome for this episode. You guys have been great to be here. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. If you guys want, feel free to blow up Travis's Twitter at reset on Tuesday. So that way when he finally checks his phone, he has like a ton of notifications. I'm going to make sure and try and schedule a tweet for that. And I'm looking forward to seeing both of you guys. And Scarrow,
Yes.
I'm sad I'm not going to be there at GCX this year to hang out with you guys. I know you get to see the other side of Universal, which should be fun as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is about as real of an episode as you can get. we had memories, we had arguments, we had sad times about the state of the game, and also really sad moments about people losing livelihoods and the future of this whole company. So,
Yep.
On that somber note, thank you guys for being here for episode 305. There will be a 306, but we'll see in a couple weeks. I have to keep saying that just to convince Travis. There will be a 306, but we'll see in a couple of weeks, everybody. Thank you very much. And for this episode, it has been
The
The
last
last
word.
episode.